Hey everyone, what's up? What's going on? My name's Joe, and you're listening to How Many Fingers Am I Holding Up? The podcast. And we're a weekly drunk movie review podcast. And how many times can I say podcast? We're not even into the episode yet. You're just listening to the intro, but we'll get right into the episode momentarily. I just have a few quick reminders before we start. One being to join our Facebook discussion group. That's How Many Fingers Am I Holding Up? The Facebook group on Facebook. And it's a public forum for all things movies. I can promise you a lot of movie trailers, a lot of movie news, and of course a lot of movie memes if you join. So yeah, go and join that right now. And two, if you'd like to support our podcast, you can do so by purchasing merch at our merch store at howmanyfingerspodcast.bigcartel.com. We've got t-shirts, we've got stickers, and we've got koozies for a disturbingly low price. How do we even make a profit? We don't make a big profit. But anyway, anything else you'd like to know about our podcast, any links or any social media or anything, you can find at howmanyfingerspodcast.com. Anyway, I think that's it. We're reviewing Mission Impossible Fallout next week, so stay tuned for that. But for right now, we're going to be reviewing Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again, with friend and photographer Caitlin Spiess. Enjoy.
Hi, I'm Mike.
And I'm Joe.
And you're listening to How Many Fingers Am I Holding Up? The podcast. And this week, we're reviewing Mamma Mia 2.
Mike, for the last time, that is not the title of the movie.
Here we go again. Welcome to How Many Fingers Am I Holding Up? Featuring two guys getting absolute zero and reviewing movies in a weekly podcast form.
And that came to us from Dan Martin, who left that for us on Facebook. Thanks, Dan.
That's, of course, from Fortnite, the absolute zero skin, because we are total nerds.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty cool.
We're also 12-year-old nerds.
With our mom's credit card.
You're in good company then. Yeah, no, I respect that.
But Joe, would you like to introduce the person sitting betwixt us?
I would love to. She has joined our revolving slate of guests from a previous job. Shall not be named.
Oh, we can't say it.
Can we?
No.
Okay.
No, we can't.
No,
okay. I don't want to put this.
It's like Beetlejuice. If you say it too many times, they'll sue you.
Yeah. They desperately need the money. So
Yeah, they really
I will
do.
Not, yeah.
Oh my God.
But anyway, we have Caitlin Spiess.
Hello.
Spiess, right?
Yeah, it's
Not-
Spiess.
okay.
No.
I remember even when we worked together, I was like, "What's up, Spice?"
Yeah,
Sorry, like,
and I was
it's
just
Spiess.
quietly like,
Yes,
that's not in any way how you pronounce my last name. Yeah.
But yeah.
And I mean, it's not like it even matters. I'm going to be Spiess for another 12 weeks.
Oh yeah, that's
right. You're getting married.
We were just talking
Yeah.
about that. You're like the second guest we've had on right before
We're
they
like
get
a
married.
good luck podcast. Like you come on the podcast and then you get married.
We're the good luck Chuck podcast.
Did you put that together? Good luck
Holy
podcast
crap.
and good luck Chuck.
That's what I was going for.
Okay.
That's beautiful. Yes.
I was like, man.
That's impressive. Thinking fast.
But yeah, we used to work together.
We used to work together. Yeah. And now.
a long time ago now.
Oh, God. That was a
I
long
don't even
time
want to think
ago.
about the exact number of
no.
years because that'll just make me feel old and
Sad.
gross. And
All that I
sad.
know is that
Yes.
I have almost paid off the car that I purchased to go to that job before I was unceremoniously laid off from that job. Yeah. So
But
yes, it's been a
happier
long ass
times.
time.
Yes. Happier times are now.
That's right.
We both have more of a job security.
That's right.
And I reached out to you just because
Yeah.
you have a very creative job. I
Yes,
always
I
see you posting
do.
about it. You are
I am.
officially a professional photographer.
I know. What is
That's
that about?
where your sole income
lies
from. That's
yes,
very
exactly.
impressive.
That's
It is
great.
impressive, especially since I have a bachelor's degree in fine art photography, and most people in my generation cannot say that they are working in their degree. So I'm
I
like,
can't.
You're a rare breed. Yes.
I'm a rare breed. I'm so rare. It's great.
We even took like the more like, oh, we're both like English majors.
Hey,
and,
you know
like,
what?
it's
You're
even-
talking with words that are in English, so technically I think that counts.
I think we're working in our industry, man.
Clearly.
I think I was born into my industry.
We also spent a lot of college drinking, so I guess that
Hey,
is
there you go.
part of what we're
There
doing
you go.
now.
Yeah, that's the same thing. That I mean, are they not synonymous? But yeah, I'm a professional photographer. I started part-time when I was a freshman because I was friends with a ton of drama majors and they all needed headshots, and I was like, I have a camera that does not suck and also skills in this area, and also look at the classes that I'm taking.
And drama kids love having their picture taken.
Oh my god, but they do.
Just one more pose. Just one more pose.
Yeah, it got to a point where I would have some drama friends that are like, "Oh my god, you haven't shot me yet," and I'm like, "All right, fine. What do you want to do? Like, how? Yeah, for real. Like, how naked are you willing to be? Because that's kind of
They're just already naked.
With drama
clothes on the
kids,
floor.
yeah.
Drama kids.
Honestly, yeah. Like, I hung out with the drama kids so much that they thought I was one of them. So they'd be like, "Oh my god, like, what did you think of this 139 class?" And I'm like, "You were speaking another language. I have no idea what you're talking about." Yeah. But yeah. So I've been shooting for money since 2009, which is also a horrible amount of time to think about. But I went out on my own this year and actually decided to make my own business my full-time thing, and I have clients now. It's like, what?
That's so exciting.
awesome.
Yeah, I have some corporate gigs, but I also do headshots, weddings, events. This is an incredibly horrible cliche, but I employ the point and shoot method. If you point me at it, I will shoot it. Yes, it's awful. It's awful, and
Bringing it.
I'm incredibly proud of that pun, which is another thing.
I knew I brought you on this podcast for some reason.
That's right.
We can shut this down. Episode over.
Okay.
She nailed it.
All right, bring out the booze. But yeah, I do a little bit of everything, and I've also recently gotten a couple of gigs for travel photography, which is super cool. I was out in LA a couple months ago. I was in Seattle earlier this year, and I'm basically just trying to like get up to a point where I can actually call up somebody like National Geographic and be like, "Hey, you should send me to Peru because I'm the right person for the job." And like, I actually, for the first time in my entire life, I actually feel like that's reachable and attainable, which is insane because I'm a millennial and hate myself like everybody else in our generation. So it's like, hey, all right, finger guns do not translate to podcasts. I'm going to stop doing that. It's a good thing.
YouTube users can see it.
Thank God. I was not informed about the YouTube portion before I got here.
I should, I feel like maybe that's something I should start.
Yeah, maybe. You know, it's like podcasts and we're also filming you, so it's a good thing you put makeup on today. Hey, I did it again. God damn it. But
that's so exciting. I'm so excited for you.
Thank you so much.
It's
And
great
really,
that you kind of just like jumped into it and it worked out.
Oh,
I feel
yeah.
like that's so rare for
It's
everyone.
insanely rare. I mean, like I have a ton of people who are supporting me. I actually would love to throw a shout out to my amazing fiance, Matthew, who I'm getting married to in 3 months and taking on the longest and Italianist sounding last name of all time,
Oh gosh, what is it?
Bevacqua.
Oh, I have a couple friends with Bavacqua as last name.
Shut up, really? That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's weird though.
That's how it's
not like
pronounced?
yeah.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen it in writing.
Yeah,
with some of your friends.
It's beautiful, and it's literally a
like
command that means to drink water, like go drink water.
Bev Aqua. Oh,
Exactly,
yeah.
because BEV, because I took Italian in college. Sup, education. I have to stop doing finger guns.
YouTube viewers are getting their money's worth.
Exactly.
Yes.
Finally, someone who does
for
finger
you,
guns.
YouTube. It's for you. But yeah, it's literally means to drink water. So when I met him initially and was not running in the other direction for a whole nother really long story, I was like, oh cool, your name literally means go drink some water. And he's like, well yeah, stay hydrated. What? Like that's important. You should be doing that.
You
Go
guys are
drink some
gonna
water.
have a
Bavacqua, damn it, Bavacqua.
Long life of hydration.
That's
for both
right,
of you.
which is actually literally what happens when we go hiking, because I'll be like, oh, I'm fine, and he's like, will you sit down and drink some water, damn it? And I'm like,
sit down and Bevacqua.
Yeah, you Bavacqua. Yeah, you Bavacqua. it's sadly become a thing. And like not nearly as much of a thing as I'm making it out to, and he's gonna hear this and be like, we don't say that.
Let's bev whiskey.
Yes, let's Bev Whiskey.
Oh man.
Which would be such a cooler last name. Matt, can we change it to Bev Whiskey?
Bev whiskey.
Bev Whiskey.
So we're drinking Rebel Yeah this week.
Mama.
Which is Kentucky. Is it bourbon?
It's bourbon whiskey.
Bourbon
yeah.
whiskey.
Bourbon whiskey.
Yeah.
You know, I was at...
Do you want a knife?
Do you need
there's
someone
a lot
with
of
nails?
things going on
Because I
here.
have nails.
So
if
there's
you-
this, like, first
Nice.
cellophane wrap. Oh,
Oh,
and it
fuck. And then it just
okay.
opens.
I'm so glad that didn't go, like, all over
Everything?
a
That would have
laptop.
been wildly impressive, not gonna lie. Oh my god, I know where you got that glass from, and I'm not gonna say it on the podcast because they'll like glass police will come get it.
Which one?
The glass, please.
That one.
Oh, yeah, that was
Yeah.
obtained not legally.
The amount of glasses that I have in... Or is this like a self-serve situation?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm just, like, passing it around. Yeah, that's from a local...
From a local establishment. Hey, look at that. You
Did
got
not give
free
it to us.
advertising. No.
It was taken.
Try and not spill. There we go.
I'm just going to pour it right in.
But I was just like...
Well, all right, fancy man. Whatever.
You don't drink beer.
No, I hate it.
And that's good. I'm glad you gave us...
Yeah.
I'm glad you gave me that heads up.
Because, like, literally, I would have pretended that I didn't hate it because I like to not make waves. Yeah, I would have been like, this is
I appreciate that
fine.
too, but I also appreciate you, babe. So I was like, what do you like? What's your fancy? And you were like, whiskey. And so I went out and got this cheap stuff.
It's
and I was-
delightful. It's a good mix in whiskey.
I started Googling and I was like, what drinks do you make with whiskey, really? And at first I was like super into whiskey sour. I was like, oh, we'll make whiskey sours. And then I was like, that's just like lemon juice and whiskey and
Yeah,
like,
if you
sugar?
don't
Like, it doesn't-
make it correctly,
doesn't sound like something we could make right here on
you're
the
gonna
surface.
throw up a lot. So you have to be really careful. All right,
glad we-
sláinte.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
But whiskey.
Cheers. But whiskey, exactly.
whiskey.
This came together pretty nicely, Joe.
Oh, that's delightful.
Oh, I like lemon in my Coke.
Oh yeah,
so.
it's lemony. It's a summer
Reminds me
beverage.
of like a diner or something. Like,
Yeah.
Can I have lemon in my Coke? But yeah, we've been, as the comments will say, you're not talking about the movie yet. It's been 14 whole minutes.
Shut the fuck up, Greg, all right? We'll get to the movie when we get to the movie.
See that little 15-second skip button that comes at the bottom of every podcast app? You can
Yeah.
use that.
I mean, if you want, or we can keep talking about me, whatevs,
No, I think we should. No, people like get really...
Are you serious?
They're driven like really nuts when we like talk about alcohol too long, especially because we were talking about this during our live episode where like Mike and I like don't really know how to critique beer either. We're like, oh, tastes foamy. Like,
oh man, even I know that's not right. Yeah, no. But yeah, so I specifically requested Mamma Mia 2.
oh yeah, I laid out the three. That
Yeah.
we're
Oh, no,
doing.
it's not Mamma Mia 2. It's Mamma Mia, Here we go again.
Yes, exactly. Oh man.
Here we go again.
Again.
This is gonna be a good episode.
Oh god.
But yeah,
I was definitely pushing for us to do this movie. Just
Were
'cause-
you? Just so we could
I
do
thought it would
that?
be
That's
a-
amazing.
we do. Oh gosh, and especially because we're like reviewing Skyscraper,
Yeah.
2 or whatever. It's just like we've done so many action
Yeah.
movies, and Mike was like, "You're going to have to kill me before we review like what is it, Hotel Transylvania 3?
Yeah.
What happened to 2? But we didn't know that existed.
Hotel Transylvania 2 is cute. Actually,
is it?
I don't remember it happening.
I don't even
Adam
really-
Sandler movies to me are kind of problematic because I find his voice wildly irritating, but because he's doing, I'm gonna wait for you to swallow, a Dracula impression the entire movie, it's actually palpable. And also Andy Samberg's in it and he's amazing, and Selena Gomez is a little delightful creature, so like I'll watch anything that the two of them are in, so I didn't care. And now there are like quotes from that movie that have like just turned into inside jokes and everything. So when I saw that they were making a vampire on a cruise ship movie, I was like, oh, done. Absolutely. That's happening. I'm seeing that. I don't even care.
To jump directly into the third installment, though, is
Yeah,
that sounds a little crazy.
You have to watch the second one, and the second one's cute as well because they're all cute because it's a family movie. It's like Pixar or whatever. But I'm sorry,
But
I can't.
we wanted something other than an
Yeah,
action movie.
it's action
so
movies or it's a
Totally.
like we're seeing all the kids movies.
Yeah.
Because those are what do well at the box office.
Totally,
So I was like,
totally.
Mamma Mia, maybe that'll do okay at the
Mamma
box
Mia's
office.
doing good.
Mamma Mia, actually,
It was a pretty
and
packed
also,
theater when I went.
I'm insane and have made notes, but I didn't write this down because I just remembered it because it's crazy. It's the largest box office opening Meryl Streep, Amanda Seyfried, or Cher have ever had.
Wow.
Which is
I
ridiculous.
guess it makes sense because Meryl Streep's mostly in like
television
serious
and
dramas.
stuff. But if you think about it, like,
What's
that
the
means...
biggest movie she's been in besides this, I guess?
I mean,
Devil Wears Prada.
I was literally just going to say that.
okay.
Yeah, which is, like, not
I don't
good.
know
Because,
I
like,
don't know how that did at the box. I would imagine it did pretty well.
I mean, like, but Meryl's been in, like, Doubt, and isn't she Sophie's Choice? And,
yeah,
like,
but those are all like those are not going to do
Those
well.
are,
at the
like,
yeah, no,
box office.
Oscars,
they're
like,
not like,
pictures,
yeah, they're Oscar bait pictures, which is another reason why I love this, because it's the middle of the summer. Nobody really cares about it because it's a musical. Like, everybody looks down on those things, and it's not Oscar bait. It's just fun. It's just
Right.
good. It's just fun.
Right. I think I was
Yeah.
concerned, like, when we first saw,
Yeah.
like, this first one, and I saw Meryl Streep was in it, I was like, oh, God, we're going to see this at the fucking Oscars. You know, because, like, I think there was, like, like, Daniel Day-Lewis was in, like, 9 or something. That was, like, a
9 was
musical,
terrible.
too.
9 was awful.
I know, and that was up for, like,
Yeah.
Oscars, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
See, like, and that's the difference, because Meryl knows how to have fun, and Daniel Day-Lewis is dead inside. So, I mean, like, I'm sorry, but anybody who goes that meta and that like
Right, yes.
into it, like, you don't have a personal life, bro. There's no way. There's no way.
No, he makes shoes.
Yeah. And that's exactly...
He's got a
like,
great hobby.
something's going on behind those dead eyes as he's like...
Just another shoe. Goddamn it!
Oh god.
My milkshake.
That movie came out like either when I was like just about to go into college or when I was in college, because everybody was making those references and I did not understand it, and I couldn't find it online to torrent because I mean that's illegal. I mean to view from another person.
Right, yes.
So I read the screenplay because I thought that would be
no.
the same for some reason.
What a bizarre screenplay that
Yeah,
must be.
the
to
There Will
read
Be
through.
Blood screenplay is descriptive.
I've also never sat down and been like, I can't find the movie, so I guess I'll just read the screenplay.
Dude, I took a lot of naps freshman
Yes,
year, so it was
oh,
like,
it was college.
yeah, it was college.
We were all doing things.
We were all doing things, and I was just like, yeah, sure, what the hell? I'll read a screenplay written by the Coen brothers, because that's... You date a film major your freshman year, you know, no offense.
No, we're English majors. It's all right.
It was Paul
That's
Thomas
right.
Anderson, not the Coen brothers.
PTA,
Was
actually.
it really?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
shit. Oh, that's embarrassing.
Coen Brothers
no,
did
that's-
No Country for Old Men, which beat There Will Be Blood that year at
And
the Oscars.
also, they're very similar, aren't they?
They
Wait,
did
are.
very...
Wait, Paul Thomas Anderson did There Will Be Blood?
Yeah, yeah.
That is not on brand for him.
It kind of is off, like a little off-brand.
Isn't he like always pastels and bright colors and shit?
No.
Or am I thinking of
Are you
someone
thinking
else?
of Wes Anderson?
I'm thinking of Wes
Yeah,
Anderson.
yeah, Wes
Thank
Anderson,
you.
Yeah.
Wow, those
This is
are
Paul
different
Thomas.
people.
It's, well,
Okay.
they're brothers. So, no, I'm just kidding. I saw like this look in Mike's eye where he's like,
No, that's
are you
our
fucking
friend.
serious?
That's amazing. But yeah, no, this
They're all from the Anderson
anyway,
family. Anthony
to-
Anderson is their older brother.
Anderson Cooper is
Anthony Anderson.
Anderson Cooper is actually a distant relative by marriage, you know, and they named him Anderson because he wasn't gonna get the last
He
name.
pushed his last name to his first name.
Exactly. Well,
Cooper
I was
Anderson was
born
his actual
Cooper
name.
Anderson, but I could
He's definitely
actually.
the older brother.
Obviously, he's like, I don't want to be associated with you people. That's how this works.
But Mamma
Okay,
Mia.
But Mamma Mia.
Here we
right.
go
Here we
again.
go again.
Mike, why don't you read us the IMDb description?
Oh, I
Oh,
can't
God.
wait. 5 years after the events of Mamma Mia, parentheses 2008, Sophie learns about her mother's past while pregnant herself. No, she fucking doesn't.
She does, though.
From who? There's no one's like telling her anything about her mother's past. She's just living her own life, and then they're like, oh, flashback, and then it goes back. Like
that's-
the only one scene I can think of is Pierce Brosnan being like, oh, I let her down once too.
Oh, that's
And they
fair.
go there. But there's literally a scene where like she's she's late and she says something like, oh, like Donna was late once too, and then
then
it
it's
goes
like a
to like
flashback,
the
yeah.
graduation sequence.
this
like,
is-
but no one's telling her that. She's just like reliving that in her memory.
That's
somehow.
a good point. That's actually an incredibly good point. My whole problem. Oh, I'm sorry.
no.
My whole problem with this movie versus the first movie, and this is literally my only real like issue that I have with it, is that all of the musical sequences in the first film were so much more organic.
Oh, yeah.
And they were gorgeous and hilarious and interesting and fun, whereas this one was like, well, I guess we're singing ABBA, and it just like kind of happened. And
yeah, there's some ripping apart of this movie to do. Joe, you want to give us some your Joe notes first so we can jump right into ripping this apart.
So
this sequence is Joe notes.
What's a Joe notes? That's a little. Give us the notes.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Yeah. That's going to be my new thing.
Welcome to Joe Notes.
Welcome to Joe Notes.
Oh my god.
I don't know what that was
DJ
supposed to be. There's a DJ like in town that plays at the other side.
Yeah.
It's like DJ
I'm also a local, which is why they're telling me this.
Right. Yeah, you grew up here.
Oh,
right?
no, literally.
In Doylestown.
Yeah,
okay,
literally.
So there's a DJ in the other side.
Yes.
And his name's DJ Troublemaker.
Why?
Trouble Maker.
Revoke his DJ
Why didn't
license.
he go to DJ Troublemaker?
Right? Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of choices.
Maybe he didn't want to make the Glee reference.
But he has like a little like sound bite that he'll play like while songs are playing, and it's just like a woman, and she's like, "Oh, DJ Troublemaker."
What the?
And
what?
it's just so nuts.
God damn it! Now I have to.
Everything about him is
Joe,
so.
now
tacky.
I have to go to the other side.
Yes.
Do you have any idea how long it's been since I've been to the other side?
We'll pregame there, and then we'll go right to Stephanie's.
Yes.
And
Oh god.
you think I'm kidding?
No, wait. Stephanie's or Finney's? Because those are two very different places.
Stephanie's is the one that is
in
the basement.
Yes.
might collapse at any moment.
Whereas Finney's is where the more esteemed generations drink.
Oh yes,
Which is a very nice way of saying that I don't go there.
But Mamma Mia, here we go
Go
again.
again. Yes.
Is directed by Ol Parker.
What?
His literal name is O.L. Parker.
Oh, old Parker directing that movie again.
Directed, and he has previously directed Imagine Me and You, Now Is Good, and and that's it. I thought he directed the first one or something.
Does he like
did not.
produce things or something? Like, does he have other interests?
He's an English film writer.
and
and director.
Okay, so that's his problem. He's one of you people.
He wrote the screen.
That's how
All right,
this
so he
works.
wrote the screenplay for the Best Exotic Marigold Hotel.
Oh shit, that's actually a really good movie.
And the second Best Exotic Marigold Hotel.
Which I don't think held up to the first one. But that's just
and
me.
wrote and direct. So he did write this one
I
as
forgot
well.
that was a title.
And
that
he's
was
married.
for a
He's
movie.
married to Thandie Newton.
Who?
She's from Westworld.
Oh,
She's like the prostitute leader.
Gotcha.
The brothel leader.
Do you
would-
mean the madam of the brothel? There you go. If you're gonna talk about brothels,
the whore.
It's old
No,
Park-
no,
Old
it's-
This is
Parker's.
like old timey.
it's the president of the whores.
Yes.
Thank you.
It's Old Parker's old lady.
Wow.
OL apostrophe lady.
old lady.
Takes a very, very long drink and doesn't comment on that particular comment.
Oh gosh. But
Here
yeah,
we go again.
Here we go again.
Oh gosh. But yeah, he also wrote the screenplay.
Okay.
And
Didn't the ABBA people also have a hand in the screenplay, or were they just redoing lyrics?
I think they had like a hand in like the composing.
Yeah,
and
They,
everything.
exactly.
they changed the lyrics
Yeah,
from
they
like
had to
I
change-
to he and
yeah,
she.
exactly.
Sometimes whenever it was appropriate.
But the film stars Lily James, Amanda Seyfried, Christine Baranski.
Yeah.
Baranski.
That girl, oh, she is my hero. I am obsessed with Christine Baranski right now. And because of these movies.
Yeah, I do
I have
like
quotes written down because of how much I love her. Literally.
Julie Walters, Pierce Brosnan, Dominic Cooper, Andy Garcia, Colin Firth, Stellan Skarsgård, Cher, and Meryl Streep.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I have. Just because I feel like
Your Joe notes are very sparse.
there's other stuff. I mean, what? They filmed in Croatia. I don't.
Oh shit, they filmed in Croatia. That's not Greece.
Yeah, no, it certainly isn't. But I feel like we'll get into it.
Yeah. Totally.
But, and again, and I don't want to waste too much time, but I didn't watch the first one before I watched this one. I watched it after
That's
I watched this
not
one.
how you watch
So I
movies,
have
Joe.
an
You run a
interest-
movie review podcast.
I
How
have
do you
an
not?
interesting perspective. Well, hey, I still did my homework.
Fair.
I just did it in a strange order.
Yeah.
And can I just say that I saw this and was like, man, the first one has to be better than this.
It is.
And then I watched the first one, and I had like my own set of complaints, and I almost see them at like an equal kind of level.
Okay.
Where this one is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like this. I mean, the other one was made when?
2008. It was literally 10 years
that's
ago.
so long ago, and maybe it's
is
unfair,
true.
but this is such a beautiful movie.
It really is.
They have so many like pretty incredible like staging and productions. The first one feels like it's like on a set.
It is. It almost entirely is. They didn't film in Croatia. They filmed in front of a green screen for the first one.
Right.
Because nobody thought an ABBA movie was going to take off. And
I think there was some. There was obviously some things in Greece or whatever, but
It was a hit musical before it was the
yeah,
movie.
yeah. Mamma Mia the musical is still on Broadway.
It might be.
I
saw it on like Canadian Broadway in Toronto. My choir tour went up there, and they bought
Canada,
us
we
tickets
love
to
you.
it. It was pretty good when I saw it on Canadian Broadway. I kind of confused that in the first movie a little bit. I think because I have fond memories of Mamma Mia, but I feel like I'm mostly thinking of the Broadway musical with like professionally trained singers and dancers and like spectacle, and not just like Amanda Seyfried trying to sing. And
Amanda Seyfried does a fine job. It's not as good as it could be. She's
not as bad as all the new people they had to this movie.
God, that's very accurate.
We'll get into that.
I love Lily James though. She's
Oh my
carrying
God,
that
yes,
entire
yes.
fucking.
Lily
Everyone
James,
else is kind of floundering. Where
Lily James is a
she
delight.
Could carry a movie like. I was kind of like, why didn't they use her more in Baby Driver? She's like really great.
Right? Yeah. She's
I don't
in
know what else is she in.
Downton Abbey.
Oh, okay.
I think.
I've never watched
She
that.
was in the Winston Churchill movie, Darkest Hour.
Was she? I haven't
Right?
seen it, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's her.
I believe you. I already forget that movie because it was not a fun experience watching that. It wasn't great.
I don't blame you. It's probably awful.
Darkest Hour.
I mean,
yeah.
it's scary and shit. Right?
It's a Best Picture nominee.
I'm just saying, like, that can't be a fun thing to watch. I mean, you know, what's his name?
It's no Mamma Mia. Here we go again.
Yes.
Here we go
Here
again.
we go again. This feels all. I mean, let's talk about. I mean, wait. You guys both saw the first movie. I mean, you said what was your?
That was super attractive. Sorry, I got lemon.
Most people listen.
Okay.
Sorry, YouTube
I'd see it
viewers.
I know, it's amazing. Yeah, what?
They won't be able to see our sweat. Guys,
Yeah, exactly.
I did not know it was going to heat up this quickly.
It's fine. Whatever. We suffer for art. That's how this works.
It is. Did you have any sort of? I mean, you wanted to do this because I presume you liked the first one.
I love the first movie.
Okay.
It is. It's a guilty pleasure movie. It's actually. Okay, so my fiance is obsessed with horror movies, and every once in a while he'll force me to watch one in
One of those people.
non-abusive way, because that sounded really bad as it came out.
He locks me in the basement, and we have to watch whatever.
Oh God, here we go again.
Caitlin, it's not too late.
Blink twice if you need help. It's not helpful on a podcast. But yeah, no, every once in a while we'll watch a really scary movie together, and the last one we watched was one of the Netflix movies called like The Woods or The Hike or something like that, which was really great. But
Oh, was that the one on
Ritual?
Netflix?
yeah, The Ritual.
I haven't
Thank
seen
you.
it, but
it's
everyone's
so
telling me to watch
good.
it.
Yeah.
But after we finished it, I was in such a state of paranoia and discomfort that he was like, let's put on something that will totally,
Okay.
it's kind of like mind bleach, you know?
Right.
And I was like, can we watch Mamma Mia? I didn't know it was on Netflix. And he was like, why did I let you pick what we were going to watch next? But then we put it on, and it was, I'm just like, I always forget about how great this movie is, and I love the soundtrack, and I am 100% one of those people that dances around in her kitchen to random movie soundtracks like this, and this
Okay,
is
right,
like one of my go-tos. Like, what is it? There's Don't Go Wasting Your Emotion is one of, with Dominic Cooper singing, because he's so good. Like, I'm sorry, Dominic Cooper can get it. And I mean, most of the cast.
I feel like they kind of undersell him in
They
this movie.
do
Like the first
undersell
scene,
him.
he's in
They
like the
make
weird,
They
like
make him such a he cannot
white tank top, and he's just
cannot pull
not
that
made
look
up yet,
off.
and
He's so incredibly underwhelming to me. Like, just
well, he looks good later in the movie, but
Yeah,
he's
he
already
does.
like they've.
I'm never attracted to Dominic Cooper ever.
Yeah,
in
no.
this.
I mean, like
I feel
Dominic
like,
Cooper
I feel
in
like
the
a lot
first
of the
movie-
guys in this movie, compared to like the women that are in this movie, it's like, Really? You got that's the best you guys can do?
Trying?
Are they only hiring like unconventionally?
Well, I think for like the 3 guys, they're trying to hire ones that look as much like their father
Which is
counterparts
funny
as
because
possible.
the guy that played the young version of Sam has played the young version of Colin Firth in the past in another film, which is just hilarious.
Do you know what film?
No,
Okay.
it's in the trivia of the IMDb page
And then,
because
like,
I too did my research.
The Pierce Brosnan younger guy looks like Anton Yelnich?
Elton Yelchin.
Yelchin.
Isn't he dead?
Yes.
Okay.
I always forget if it's Yelchin or Yelnich.
It's Yelchin.
Yelchin, yeah. Doesn't he not look like rip-off Anton?
He does look like a
Yelchin?
rip-off Anton Yelchin. And the other guy...
And none of them are
they
like...
all have too much jaw.
None of them are
I feel like it's going to unhinge and...
But like they're all kind of this weird, like, sort of like weak, skinny, like version of like attractive, and I feel like they really needed like a beefcake in there somewhere.
I agree with you.
Like we needed like a Chris Hemsworth or someone who was like, hey, like I'm a sailor. Or
Granted,
whatever.
if you really,
They're like European television attractive, kind of like it's.
Oh, it's like the Legally Blonde song. Is he gay or European? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, to be fair though, the slightly skinnier and more approachable guy is definitely like, I don't want to say effeminate because that's not really accurate for any of the boys. Because I mean, honestly, they're not men; they're boys in this movie. Mm-hmm. That is definitely like a more conventional, approachable guy that most women find attractive. And
which one?
Like.
Small Colin
Firth. No, like there's nothing.
Yeah, like
there's
small
nothing...
Colin Firth, small Bill, or young Bill. They're cute. Like young Harry, I was not super into, but I mean, I'm sorry if he turns into
Harry
Colin.
the Sailor.
If young Harry turns into Colin Firth,
you have to refer to the actor because I don't know the father's names.
Harry.
We're even gonna have to go to like keywords of sailor, architect, and leather jacket.
If baby leather jacket
and Sex Pistols
exactly.
Sex Pistols
there
t-shirt.
Jacket that doesn't fit.
Yes, if baby leather jacket, which really looked like more like a leather jacket shrug, honestly, like that child doesn't know how to dress, or the costumer doesn't know how to dress him. If he were to turn into Colin Firth, then yeah, that would 100% be like my thing. Like I would be on top of
getting
that.
in on the ground floor,
exactly.
like investing.
Granted,
in his future.
I also have 3 gay ex-boyfriends, so I am not the person to judge that on. But like, see, this is my problem because Stellan, Colin, and Pierce, I'm 100% on board for. But that's not what the young people really, they don't really give me that vibe. And
they're not daddy yet.
Yeah, thank you. I wanted to say that and I wasn't sure if that'd be weird. But that's like, they don't have
How zaddy are these guys?
Exactly. They are in no way, they're not zaddy quality at this time.
Wait,
they
zaddy?
are in a chrysalis.
Is that a One Direction thing?
No, it's a term. Zaddy. It's like
just a little more daddy.
Yeah,
it's just
I
another.
thought it was like a Zayn version of daddy, zaddy.
Oh wow, you made that like full One Direction.
Yeah.
Oh honey, no.
I mean, we got Harry looking at us.
We've been
right
around
here.
savory for too long, but is there even like a meta quality to it where we know these people aren't going to grow? These like young actors aren't going to grow up and be as successful,
granted, we don't know the future. They might. Don't. We don't know the future, but don't think that any of them.
They're going to grow up and be hot though.
No, because like
they're not going to become daddy. They're going to become.
Well, that's the thing. Like they are attractive in their own way. Like it's not. None of them are bad looking.
Exactly, and I mean
guys.
To be fair,
I just feel like there should have been more variety of the type of attractiveness there.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna have 3 guys, like it should be.
And because they all grow up to be such different like varieties and personalities of attractive, why did you have the same white bread cookie cutter as like the base? That's
like because they have like 3 different types of zaddies, if I'm saying that right. This new term, zaddies.
I need more
whiskey.
As the kids
call it.
I need more whiskey to continue this conversation.
Bringing it on.
Hell no. Hell no.
So they should have had like 3 different types of like young attractive people. And I feel like a beefcake would be one of those. Like I don't know. Just wanted some more muscles in this.
Also, I had a problem with the way that the guy who was playing young Bill with the boat. Like, I mean, I'm sorry, but if you're gonna put a guy on a boat, then he's gotta be way hotter than that. Like, that's just...
that doesn't look like a guy I would trust alone at sea for a couple of months.
Like, I mean, I want somebody.
Are you sure you're gonna be okay? Do you want someone to come with you?
Yeah, for real. Like, I want.
He's gonna do like a 3-week race. Like that was like part of the premise. I was like,
I don't trust
are you
that.
Gonna be okay?
Is there any food on this boat?
No, sweetie.
Do you know how to fish?
Do you have?
I know you know how
Can
to
you
sell
fillet
it.
a fish? Can you kill a living thing?
Do you have a commanding officer you can report to? Because I'm honestly concerned.
Your dad's going to be
at
on the
this-
boat
yeah,
too, right?
Precisely. Like, I mean, young Bill's dad, yes,
Yes.
absolutely. I'm on board with that. Young Bill, no.
Why didn't
no.
they should have had something with his twin brother too. Like if we
That would have been hilarious.
Was their twin brother in the first movie?
No.
Then why didn't they have like a twin on the boat who was like I don't know.
They
I
actually,
feel like because this movie,
there
I think this
is-
movie sorely needs a lot more comedy in it. I
There
think it's
is
a lot
a-
of just
yes,
here's
yes.
blah 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 happening. Here's a random ABBA like B-side from like one of their albums.
Oh
that no
my
one
god,
really
it should have
cares
been
about.
called Mamma Mia, the B-sides.
The B-side.
Right? Because that's literally what-
Underselling the movie.
Oh, yeah. No, that's
Not as good, but yeah, it's still ABBA.
Like the movie, it just needed more like hijinks and like crazy stuff happening. Like
Yeah,
that's
there
what
was
I
not
was because
nearly
when I
enough
was
crazy
pushing for this
stuff.
movie, I was like, I think we think it's going to be funny, but I think it's going to be like actually kind of good in like maybe not
Yeah.
my cup of tea type of way.
And it was. I mean, it was a visually stunning.
But I felt like it was
going
gonna
to fun
do-
ensemble.
Yeah,
but
I feel like it was going to
wasn't,
do the genre well.
The whole boat scene where they actually play. It was Mamma Mia, right? What
I thought
what
that
are-
when did they do Waterloo?
Waterloo was in the restaurant. That was a terrible
Oh,
use
yeah,
of,
yeah,
the,
that
of,
was
the,
weird.
of the song Waterloo. I'm sorry, but a baguette fight between Lily James and young Harry was
Also, it's like-
unacceptable. No.
Is Waterloo supposed to sound so much like Buttercup?
Oh man, we just uncovered a
this-
music copyright suit.
Like,
Holy
I didn't know
shit.
if it was intentional. Like, were they changing? Because I'm not familiar with the Waterloo song.
No, that's literally
I was like,
just
this
the
this
song.
melody sounds familiar, but I'm hearing Buttercup.
Oh my God.
fill me
Oh
up,
shit, look
baby,
at that.
just to let me down.
Well, now I think you're singing Buttercup to the tune of
Waterloo.
Waterloo. I think there's a similar chord progression, but they go two different it's
Okay.
like da da da. Oh, now I'm singing.
doing
Okay, no, it's hard to because now you want to sing. Okay, they're different. They're different, and don't bring me and ABBA to court about it.
Well done, sir. Well done. That was good.
I don't know what they sing on the boat, but it is good. But no, I agree where, like, I'm not the biggest musical person, but I'm not dead inside. I cry
Sure.
during musicals, you know?
Sure.
Like, it's like...
Oh my
but
god,
this-
the guy I was sitting next to when I saw it cried during the birth scene. It was adorable. Because he was
I
clearly
couldn't
like
get on board
I was
with
laughing
it.
at that
he
point.
was he was older and had clearly like grown up with this music, so I just thought that
Right.
was so completely beautiful. And like it was one of those things where I was like, is this dude crying? Like, oh my god, should like and then he looked at me and was like, I'm everything's fine. What? Because I mean, granted, I'm the weirdo that's seeing a movie by myself in the middle of the day on a Thursday, so you know, whatever. I went to the nice AMC that had the reclining seats. So I don't need your judgment, sir. Sir.
That AMC 309? I still, yeah.
You can literally get a drink at the bar and take it into the movie with you. I mean,
those are so
it's not
great.
as good as Movie Tavern,
Where's
which
that?
a Movie Tavern's out in Flowertown
Collegeville
or
one,
Collegeville,
yeah.
where you push a little button and it lights up and they will bring you booze. Ooh. Yeah, they have terrible
I have
food,
been to an
though. Don't eat
AMC like
food.
that where they have actual like waiters that come in
Yeah.
and like try to
Cool.
whisper during the movie, be like, "Oh, can I get you? Do you want it? I'm trying to watch a movie,
I'm trying to watch Moneyball.
but I'll take some lobster pizza."
Yeah,
They
right?
literally served that there.
Oh, wow.
And it was great.
That's awesome.
But,
Anyway,
yeah,
Here we go again.
Oh, here we go again. It's a lot of people, I feel like, who maybe saw the first one were more inclined toward the second half of this movie.
Yes.
Where I kind of like the first half, and then after watching the first one, I was kind of like, oh, I get it. Like, the second half of this is kind of just all fan service.
okay,
And
the
it's like-
second that they said that Bill and Harry weren't going to be able to be there, I was like, well, shit, that's literally why I'm seeing this movie. What do you mean that you're not going to have three of the main people? You've already killed Meryl, which is unacceptable
Yeah, I was
because,
about to say,
like,
Can
what
we talk
the
about
fuck?
that?
Meryl's
Yeah.
dead, but she still made the party.
Yeah, for real. For real.
Mamma Mia's bringing everybody. Doesn't matter whether they're
Big
dead
ass
or in
spoiler.
Japan on a business trip.
Meryl might be dead, but the ghost comes back. Holy shit. Like, clearly she's, like, haunting the little church that she got married in or whatever.
What's going on with that casting decision? Did she...
She's probably
at
doing
first I was
something
like,
important.
oh, she's probably doing something
Yeah.
else. But then, like, she comes.
She did all of her
Spoiler alert
scenes
for a musical.
Yeah.
She appears as a ghost and then appears for like a last kind of musical number too.
Well, I mean, they had all the young and old versions at the same time too, so like
I kind of like that.
That's an ensemble. That's an ensemble number.
Like
that's
that.
normal.
Yes.
What, the end credits scene?
Yeah, where all like the young versions dance with the older versions. That was cute.
It's very
musical.
It was
Yes.
fun. I mean, because it's like at the end of the musical when they're they're kind of. I mean, usually they'll bring back an old song,
Sure.
like the hit song from the musical, and everyone's kind of went out and
Exactly.
doing their bows together, and they're like trying to be in character while they're doing it.
But the whole thing
that song is weird though.
The whole thing
I mean,
with,
I love
like,
that
Meryl
song,
coming
but
back,
it's just
though, I don't know.
it's such a studio song and not really like a musical song.
Super
like,
Trooper?
Yeah, the oop-ba-ba, oop-ba-ba.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Just everyone, it makes it so apparent everyone's lip syncing. And
Oh, totally. I mean, like,
You would
I'm
never do
sorry.
that
The guys
song
come
in
out
the
from behind the
actual-
bar and sit down instead of dance so that they can drink their beers. That is such a dad move. And secondly, the gentlemen aren't as spry anymore. I mean, let's be real. We have to expect more from the women in the ensemble to carry this shit. That's
the
how this
older
works.
guys are really calling it in. Like,
Oh,
for this
so
whole,
much.
like,
They were like, hey, what's up? Paycheck.
the whole time, like when they're like sailing in, everybody else is fucking like dancing, hitting all the beats or whatever. Like
Do
Colin
not
Firth is
besmirch Colin Firth.
No, Colin Firth was
and
doing
his
like some weird
amazing
like
nonsense.
diagonal thing at one point. With,
He was
like,
up. He was
when-
up
when-
on the
when-
thing.
Colin Firth was into it.
When they
yeah.
get to the island, he's more like that. But
Yes.
like when they're on the boat and everybody else is dancing, they're kind of just doing like the Titanic pose, kind of, and
But
goofing
they do the
off.
Titanic
like,
pose, and then Colin Firth climbs up on the fence and is holding onto the ropes. Like, he's like into it, which is
really
Oh,
okay.
yeah. Like,
I don't know if I was.
I mean, I don't think that this really constitutes a rewatch for you, but when those scenes
I'm gonna have to go back
when those
and I'm gonna
scenes
look at it. And I'm gonna get back
inevitably
to
hit
you.
YouTube, rewatch the boat scene when the boys show up because it's cute and they're clearly like, oh, we're here for our kid and everything's great. My question
I
is,
still like that scene.
where the hell did Harry's kids from the first movie go? That's my question. Also, there is a huge
who's
plot
Harry?
hole. Harry is Colin Firth.
Okay.
And in the first movie, Amanda Seyfried is like, and now you're working in a bank, a family man, and your name is Harry.
Mm-hmm.
And it's cute because in the same thing, she's like, hey, you stole mom's guitar. And he's like, actually, I bought her this guitar. It cost me 10 quid and my Sex Pistols t-shirt. Which is hilarious because A, he's still wearing that fucking shirt later in the movie, or in Mamma Mia 2, Here We Go Again.
Right, yeah.
And secondly, he shows up in that movie, sees that she's on a boat with Bill, and then walks away with the guitar still attached to his back.
Right. Yeah.
How did she magically get the? What did he do? Send it to her out of like spite or something? Like that's. I'm sorry. That's. I've watched them. I've watched them too recently, so I'm like nitpicking.
So
but still.
have I, and there's
Yeah.
so many things that
Yeah.
change.
And Harry's like
yeah.
in that bank meeting thing, and he's like, "Oh, look at that, Mr. Tanaka, or whatever the hell your name is," because I'm being super racist and just assuming the guy's name is Tanaka because he's Japanese. And is like, "Oh, family's the most important thing. I need to leave. I don't care about the corporate shit."
Right.
But like, he's got other kids, so why is that?
My other family is the most
Yeah,
important.
what? Like, random girl on a Grecian island who I'm pretty sure is my kid. Like, what? No. And also, like, come on, dude. That was your first time ever. There's no way that you. No, that's not how that works. Biology says Sam is probably the father, but, you know, whatever. I
Sam
guess.
is Pierce Brosnan?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry. I keep, like.
Well, you would
looking-
assume they did it the most,
That's
right?
what I'm saying.
Because
Logically.
it's one time with
Yeah, it's
Harry,
one time with
right.
Harry.
one time with Bill.
One time with Bill at the end, and also,
Yes.
it's gonna be a little overly little TMI. Based on ovulation cycles, it's
Yeah, I was about to
probably
go into
Sam.
that, too.
Yeah, because A, they have sex a ton over the week that they spend together, which is referenced in the song lyrics, and secondly, it's like right in the middle of that month that she spends with the three guys, and like Harry only has one shot at it, and Bill only has one shot at it. So logically, it's probably Sam.
And Sam,
Yeah.
well, what's it called? He's on like a 3. The timing is, again, like, I'm not gonna pretend
Yeah.
like I'm you know,
timing makes
I know,
no goddamn sense.
I know a lot about like female anatomy or whatever, but like the timing of the 3 sexual encounters
Yeah.
and the pregnancy is off because like, yeah, it's like she has sex with one guy,
I mean-
and then she's having sex with another guy for 3
Yeah.
weeks because that's how long like the boating competition is, and then she's
Yeah.
having sex with another person, and like I guess that's possible, but unless like you're really like don't know your cycle,
what
kind of.
they're
Like,
well, I mean, granted, this was the 70s, and
Yes.
they I mean, granted, we are also ripping apart like one of the plot bunnies of this
Right.
movie, but regardless.
well, no, I have a
You
deeper
have
thing to
sex
go
with
into.
somebody, and then a day later you're in Greece and like
Yeah.
looking up other people or whatever. The whole thing just makes no sense. And which brings me to my next point, which is I took notes because I'm crazy.
Good. Yeah.
There is a theory that Andy Garcia.
On the Mamma Mia Reddit.
That's right. There is a theory that
Reddit.com/r/here we go again.
Cienfuegos, which is Mr. Cienfuegos, the hotel manager, is in fact Sophie's grandfather based on the lyrics of the song Fernando. Because Fernando leaves the singer of Fernando, which we later found out is Ruby. Also, speaking to how much of a goddamn powerhouse Cher is, I have her accidentally written as Cher playing Ruby Sheridan instead of Ruby Sheridan played by Cher in my little breakdown of actor names, which just proves that Cher is in herself not a real person.
Right. Yes.
But yeah, so like the whole point of the song is that Ruby leaves him out of nowhere and she's still in love with Fernando, but somebody did the math because if she left him in 55, which is right about when a 22-year-old Donna Sheridan should have been born, Fernando is Donna's dad. So that's then you got Ruby and Fernando as her grandparents, which is hysterical, A, and secondly, this crazy like wave of paternity suits just like going over and over and over each other. And why is everybody so obsessed with that? That's one of the reasons why I actually love the first movie is that they're all like, we don't give a crap about paternity. We're all going to be your dad. I thought that's beautiful.
That is.
I did kind of wish they would have just given some closure to who it actually is in this movie.
Oh, it's
though.
Sam. Come on. He's the only one who stays.
They're not
He's
going to
the
do
one who's in
something
love
like
with
that
him.
because then
No.
the other two would, there would be no reason for.
Which is another thing.
But wouldn't it be like also endearing if one of them found out it was them and the
then
other two
didn't
were
say
like, well, we're
anything?
still going to be
Yeah,
one of your
absolutely.
dads and we're going to hang
But
around.
But
Which
I think
I
it's
also
like
love that.
not important to them that they all three want to be fathers for that, like never to come up.
And
or
then when they
whatever.
find out that Sophie's pregnant and they're like, oh, I didn't tell anybody. The only person I told was Bill. And Bill's like, well, I told Harry because he's the last of the fathers and he deserves to know. And then Harry's like, oh, I told a lot of people that you're pregnant, which is
many people.
many people, which is
the only
adorable.
like parts that people laughed at in my theater were all the parts from the trailer, and they were people who were like,
Yikes.
they were literally like quoting the parts as they were happening.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
So they put all the
unfortunate.
funny parts in the trailer, and then people were just like, "Oh, this is funny because I've heard it before."
See, that's funny
People
because
like people really like the Rosie and
Tanya.
Tanya parts in
got
my
you.
theater.
I
I
got
also
you.
saw it like at that.
I'm sorry, but young Tanya, who I can't remember her name,
Yeah.
and Christine Baranski, because I wrote her name down, they are now my goals for A, femininity, and B, who I want to be as a person, because of several reasons. But first of all, I just want to be upfront and let you know that I visually enjoy you. That's just like, it's beautiful. And whoever played young Christine Baranski, because it's not young Tanya, it's young Christine Baranski. She did an incredible job, and that should be her job all the time, every day, for life.
I have
She
to
should just
complain.
follow Christine Baranski around
My
and just be
complaint
her.
with like most of the casting in this movie has to do with they went like too hard with trying to make them look exactly like their older versions.
It was so good, though.
With these two ones, it's like, did these women not change their hairstyle over like the past like 30 to
Yes.
40 years? Like,
Yes.
It was very
like
stage
the young person has like that
Mhm.
like old lady like short like spunky like haircut.
Don't judge the pixie cut. I've had the pixie
yeah.
cut.
Doesn't
I've
even
had
like a
the
pixie
blonde
cut.
cut.
I can see
Come on
that
now.
one more than the other one. The other one kind of has
Yeah,
more
it looks
of
like a wig. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, well, it
But
is one.
Kind of like college age girls with a pixie cut. Like
That's normal.
totally
Even and
I can
especially well,
see that,
actually, that's more of a modern thing. In the 70s, that was like unheard of. Like for a girl to have that short of a hair in the 70s, that's weird.
but,
Yeah.
It's not really like a pixie cut though, right? Like it is more of like the like old lady with like white hair.
like spiky kind of.
There's not much I can do with my hair at
Don't
this
judge
age, so I'm
Grandma.
gonna like
What the
do
hell,
like a
Mike?
spunky.
God.
Well, no, it looks
Judging
good on like the
Grandma
older
over here.
version of her, but it looks weird on the younger version, and it's just kind of like
Totally.
is there not another cue we could get from their personalities to understand that this is the younger versions of them?
The fact that she's
And that's how I
obsessed
felt
with
about
food
the-
and then later becomes a food critic and what is it, cookbook author, I think
Right.
helps. but not enough. And I think that
I think
that girl
I needed visual cues like
fair.
that.
Fair. Well, you hadn't seen the first one yet.
Right, but not everybody going into this movie has seen the first one.
And also, if we like really care about people looking like each other, they shouldn't have cast Lily James because she looks nothing like Meryl
That's
Streep.
true. That's the only one who doesn't. And I think like maybe they're like all these side characters. Like
they had to do the overalls to be like, okay,
yes,
yeah, that's Meryl.
Let's like really do like the visual cues, and then
God, I
like
love
Lily
Meryl
James
Streep.
can kind of carry the like lookalikes we've all picked out, kind of. But yeah, no. To go back to like the pregnancy thing really quick.
Oh my god, the pregnancy thing.
No, but I didn't want to just be like, hey man, like the science doesn't add up, dude.
It doesn't,
like,
though.
The female anatomy, it does not work like that.
It doesn't though. You're right.
And like now maybe I'm wrong, but I just again, like people are constantly,
you don't buy it.
People are constantly breaking into song or whatever, like
Sure.
like rules can be bended or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's something about this film that is like a little like slut shamey.
It is.
As opposed to the first one, where like when they're in the church in the first one, Amanda Seyfried's like I don't care if you've had like sex with like hundreds of men or something.
And she's like, not
and
hundreds, God.
And then Meryl Streep's like, well, maybe dozens, kind of, like it was just kind of like, it's really funny.
Yeah.
And it's like, they're like, that was Meryl when she was younger. And then this one, they have to construct it to be like, we have to be careful that she's not a slut. Like
exactly,
she was,
like in the first one, she's like, oh, she's giving him a pity lay because he's never had sex before. And then in the second one, she's in love, and then in the third one, she's all heartbroken, and oh my god, she never does this.
Oh no, yeah,
fuck it, maybe she does. Who gives a shit? It's the 70s.
That's another one. I hate that dialogue cue of like,
woo, whiskey.
I swear, like I never do this, and it's like, why are you trying
Stop
to
saying
like,
that?
she's not even talking. She's like talking past the boy and like into the audience of like,
She's
swear,
being
I never
so
do this
meta.
kind of. And like
So
it's so weird, and it was kind of like the writers were kind of like, how do we write this so she's not just like, man, it's young Meryl, let her get it, you know, like it's just kind of it doesn't have to be like she had a fling,
power
and then
to
she
the
had
ladies.
a romance, and then she had like a
her heart broken,
yeah,
and
or
you
then
know.
she had like a reviving kind of like
Clearly,
she had a
Dua
rebound.
Lipa. Dua
rebound.
Lipa
Yeah,
had a co-write in this. If you're not getting over him, you're getting under him. So get under somebody new. FYI. No, it's like the whole thing
Waterloo
is stupid.
scene was a little like I like that song, the Buttercup song. But it was a
It
little
was
strange because it was
he was pressuring her.
right because
Yeah.
she's like, and
That's how I felt about it. And then afterwards, she was clearly like, "I did not enjoy
That's
this.
kind of
this
the
was
flip
not
side
fun
of, like,
for me.
trying
Like, great, I
to
did something nice for you,
make her
guys."
look more like pure and like she didn't,
No.
Right. Yeah,
like
Yeah.
it's worse from that angle because then it makes him look like an asshole who's just like, you gotta fuck me because I'm a virgin, like, you gotta fuck me. And then they have like a song where like the analogy is like about it being like a battle that like he's gotta like win, like that made me feel a little weird.
One of the lines in Waterloo that I feel like is like a way to excuse, and I don't think that what is portrayed in the song or in the movie is date rape, but it like kind of feels like coercion. Waterloo, even when I lose, I win. You're my Waterloo, and it's like, okay, like
Yeah.
I don't really want to do this, but I mean, you're fine, I guess. So I'll go have sex
Well, I
with
think
you.
Waterloo,
When I lose, I
Even
win.
when I lose, I mean, at least we're getting laid.
we go
Here we go again.
I think their intention is that Waterloo is supposed to be more from like his perspective
Yeah.
of like, you know, I may not get to stay with you, but I get this one night. So
Especially because in the next song, when she's on the boat with Bill, he shows up randomly, which is also stupid, and they shouldn't have done that. And he's like, well, shit, like, you're off with some guy on a boat, and you're using me like some broken toy, and you're throwing me away when you're done with you. She was already done with you, bitch.
Yeah.
She was already done with you. She made it very clear, I'm leaving tomorrow, and you are in Paris, and I'm going to Greece. Why are you following me like a stalker, Harry? Like, what the hell? Young Colin Firth would not do that shit. I'm just saying. Writers?
Young Daddy Firth would never do
Damn
that.
straight Young Daddy Firth would never do that shit.
It was just kind of like they're trying to fit 3 romances in like,
And they're trying to make them not hoary romances because
Right.
God forbid a young woman enjoy having sex. Oh God.
oh god, a woman have sex with
A
3
woman have
men
sex
like
with
in
3
in
men
a,
in a month?
right, or just in like a small period
Perish
of
the
time.
thought. Yeah, this is yet another
it's-
reason why I'm glad I got to do this movie because I am a raging feminist.
It was just it was just kind of like I felt like we could have had such a more solid story instead of like, well, hold on, we got to develop this romance
Yeah,
instead of characters.
we have to make sure that it's like fine that she's not a
Yeah.
slut. And oh, hey, by the way, let's throw one of the Bjorn/Benny ABBA people in as the piano man. And I don't remember if it was Benny or Bjorn because let's be real, those names are way too similar. But then the other one was one of the professors in the I Kissed the Teacher song, which is a weird-ass song to include.
The minute that song came on, I was like, I've never heard this ABBA song.
Yeah,
This is very strange.
that is a deep cut for ABBA.
And it's also like forced into this movie. Like, I think there's some things about this movie where like I love musicals, like genuinely deeply love musicals.
Thank God.
Right.
Yes, more men should enjoy musicals because the amount of times that I have had to either defend wanting someone to go see a musical, or secondly, actually drag a significant other to a musical, or be like, oh shit, you've suddenly made me go see a rom-com. Like, get the fuck over yourself, okay? It's cute, it's fun, and there's generally naked women in this movie, so
and if you actually
yourself.
see like a Broadway musical, it's like pure spectacle.
Totally.
Like, it's just amazing to watch, and it's like
musicals are great.
It's like such a high caliber performance in that, and I kind of am not a huge fan of movie musicals because I feel like people often get cast because they're just already famous actors or actresses, and they're not at the caliber of like what makes musicals great to me. But I think this movie is like, it's some of the things that I hear people complain about with musicals where they're like, well, they're just like, they just randomly break into song for no reason.
Bitch, have you never seen a musical?
But it's like in musicals, usually
I thought the first one was worse with that.
Usually it's advancing the plot in some way, or it's giving us some insight into their emotion. Usually because it's written for the musical itself. In a jukebox musical, it's obviously harder.
Oh, totally.
But in this one, it's so much harder because with the first one, they had the full breadth of all ABBA songs, the entire discography to be like, what can we do?
Songs,
totally.
Yes.
All the good ones, and what ones will make this plot work the best.
Absolutely.
This one, they've got the leftovers of what they haven't used.
Because I'm sorry.
And they retread 6 from the first.
Is it really 6?
Because they need that.
It's like, so in this one, they break in a song for no reason, and it doesn't advance the plot, and it doesn't usually give us an insight into the emotions, and it also, you can see it leading the plot, where it's like, the plot needs to go here so we can fit that one like sort of recognizable ABBA song in. I feel like the teacher one is one of that. Like, again, like you have Amanda Seyfried being like, oh, like my mom was late once.
Yeah, no.
And then like go to this like flashback sequence, and then like it's the graduation where like she's the valedictorian because this character has to be.
She's not the valedictorian. She's giving the class speech.
Oh, is she? No, I thought she was the valedictorian.
Isn't the valedictorian the one who gives the class speech?
Not always. Sometimes it's by class vote. And I think that's what they said, is that she was just the most like popular or most whatever. Because they said it's like a valedictorian speech, but that based on class vote. Like they chose her probably because she's in this random Donna and the Dynamos band. I don't think that she was actually like the smartest or the most intelligent in her class. It's just she had the most charisma.
Yeah.
So clearly her charisma was maxed out and her intel was like normal.
Is this a good opening scene?
Plus 10 charisma.
Exactly.
Is this a good opening scene?
No.
Is this I don't know.
Not at all like squirm inducing?
No to everything. But still, this is also still kind of one of my favorite set pieces of this movie. The dancing.
Are you serious? Oh, you're so cute.
I like it. Well, it's
cute in a vacuum.
It's mobile.
Like,
it's kind of like, oh, it's graduation.
If it doesn't just come out of nowhere.
But why do they all end up on bikes? Why?
They're on a stage.
Why is everyone following them?
They're on a stage in front of a sea, baby. It's weird,
God.
and everybody's dancing, and I was
but then why is the teacher singing to herself in front of all the parents with a feather?
That scene goes like
cringe-inducing.
That scene goes a hard musical, and then I feel like the rest of it doesn't ever.
It's the closest the movie comes to Broadway spectacle.
That's true. That is true.
But in the context of this movie, which for the most part is like
really,
it's pretty kind of like tame and like tampered down. Like
this
it's
is a really
weird
thing. It's weird. I'm sorry. I've never done a podcast before, so like that's why I'm being super confused by the.
No, it's crazy. People listen to this too.
Yeah, I know. What is that about?
I don't know. This isn't just a conversation that stays in the sweaty.
We got paid to do this in Philly.
Dude, that's awesome. Good for you, man.
$12.
Whoa.
Thank you to the 3 people that came and paid.
See, this is what happens when Katie drinks whiskey. She gets incredibly interested in set pieces.
But,
and yeah.
I don't know.
the premise of this movie is kind of stupid too.
Oh, completely.
There is no plot.
No, there isn't a plot.
Like the first movie, I think, has a genuinely great and interesting plot.
Who's my dad?
Yeah. There's a question. There's a driving force for the main character.
And there isn't a definitive answer, but there is a conclusion, which is I don't care.
There's an emotional conclusion.
Yeah, I don't care who my dad is. You're all my dad. Which honestly,
which is the best kind of ending because it's a twist on what you thought she was gonna find out.
I would love three dads
looking for something
that
and she
were
found
great
something else.
and not shitty. That would be awesome. I mean, let's be real. They missed the first 20 years of her life, but they all show up when she needs them most, which is beautiful, and that's awesome. And as someone who's only experienced that with one dad, I mean, I would love two more. That would be great.
Especially if Colin Firth is one.
For real.
The more daddies, the better.
I'm sorry. Colin Firth, Pierce Brosnan, Stellan even, y'all are invited anytime. But, regardless, I just... there's another thing. What the fuck is Andy Garcia doing in this movie?
I don't know.
What is he doing here? But I actually...
He is a part of the actual, I think the funniest part of this movie and the only time it attempts genuine just comedy.
Okay, and
with
this
Christine Baranski when he's whatever and
have
she's
him washed and brought to my tent.
When she's be still my beating vagina.
Yes!
My theater died
the
at that
entire theater.
moment.
I literally have both of those quotes written down because of how much I love them.
I don't know why they didn't try more of that, just humor.
And
in
then
this
when the
movie.
most interesting man in the world shows up, please
That
let your
was
wife
actually-
be
that
dead.
was-
I'm sorry. Come on.
I was the only person laughing at that part in my theater, but
I didn't like that part.
I loved it.
I laughed
Just
at it, not with
ridiculously,
it.
right?
It's such a weird cameo.
Has he worked after his Dos Equis
He's just a guy known for commercials. So it's this
Yeah.
joke that only works while those commercials have been on in
Exactly.
recent memory.
Right.
In
But
20 years, that's not going to
apparently,
make sense.
Exactly. It was just kind of Mamma Mia was here's a meme, which is so random for a musical sequel to be here's a meme.
There's another thing that I love.
Why
What I
do
love
you
about
know?
this. Another thing that I learned is that apparently Cher got to decide who her Fernando was.
And she picked Andy Garcia?
She picked Andy Garcia. She had final casting decision over a host of actors, and she chose Andy Garcia, which is just a beautiful
Cher's
sentiment.
not in the first one, is she?
No, she was supposed.
Is she referenced?
She was supposed to be in the first one, but she didn't. No, she wasn't.
But
She's been in an ABBA video, though.
And I think she's even.
I felt like there had to be some connection to ABBA there.
She's promoting her new
ABBA cover album, which
right
she
now.
started recording
So
after
she's
she
in it,
finished
yeah.
filming the film. Because after she sang Fernando, which you can't not say Cher, then she started recording a whole album of ABBA covers, which is just such a Cher thing to do.
She is absolutely the best
Also-
performer in this movie.
Cher is only
all the guys are so bad at singing.
I don't think the two of you know this. Holy shit. Cher is 3 years older than Meryl Streep.
Yes. Also,
Three.
in the first
3
movie,
years
they
older.
say Meryl Streep's mom is dead.
Yeah.
Yes. So they just kind of cross out that detail.
Okay,
and bring her
you know
back.
what, Joe? Holding
Yes.
grudges makes you fat, okay, honey?
I do feel like sometimes with these sequels that are 10 years later,
yeah.
did the writers actually go back and watch
And that's another
and write
thing.
down all the details?
Technically-
Well, also, they have to be does anybody remember that shit? Is the
and
audience going to remember that
That's
shit?
the other thing. See, I remember everything.
So do I, because I just recently watched
And also
it.
it's on
Right.
Netflix, so
And
people can
also
watch
it's
it
on
now.
Netflix.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
the other thing. Technically, the movie was released 10 years later, but it's only supposed to have been 5 years, which is so sad because then Donna and Sam only got 4 years together.
Or did
at
they end
least
up at the end of the first movie?
Yeah, they did.
I don't remember.
They do. Yeah, they get married.
I think I
They
just
get
watched
married.
it.
He definitely
and they-
seems to be the most
they go
heartbroken about
Don't
it.
they go off on a boat or something?
No, yeah, they get married and they
Yes,
go off on a
okay.
boat and it's beautiful. No.
Wow, how memorable
Sky
is Mamma
and
Mia, the first
Sophie.
one? Yes.
Sky and Sophie.
They go
Yes,
off on
the
the
young
boat.
people go off on a
Okay.
boat too.
And then they
That's
come back
another
and-
thing. You can't learn the hotel business in 6 weeks, Sky. What the fuck are you doing in New York? God damn
going
it.
to a
Sophie
seminar.
doesn't deserve you or
Also,
the
she
other way
has a
around.
hotel
I'm
in
going
Greece.
to a
Why don't you learn the
seminar.
hotel business by running the hotel that's in Greece?
Thank
Also,
you.
Like,
Oh,
they
Sky
offered
made us
me-
a website.
They offered
oh, fuck
me a
yourself,
job at
Dominic Cooper.
the seminar I'm at. Like, what?
That's not a thing.
And also, like,
He also,
you
he's
millennial
guys are
bullshit.
deeply in love. Like, why is that even a conversation of I think I'm going to stay here without you.
I would love
also,
to live in New York, but my pseudo common law wife that I live with in Greece, because we're not technically married because we made a whole big fucking stink about that 5 years ago about not getting married, is out in Greece running her own hotel. But no, I'm going to stay here.
Also, it's like he's like I'm going to New York to learn the hotel business from the ground up. So like presumably he's like a bellhop or something,
Yeah,
and then they're
real.
like, "Oh, we offered you a permanent position."
And
so
he's like, "Ooh, a
"Oh, sorry, babe,
salary."
I'm gonna go be permanently a bellhop." in New York." which do make fantastic money. My brother is a bellhop.
That's accurate. Well,
he
there
makes
you go.
more money than he will when he gets a policing position that he's
Holy
looking for.
shit, that's insane.
Yeah,
That's
like he's kind of
good
like,
for
do I
him.
want to be a cop? Because I make
Yes.
so much money as a
Yes,
bellhop.
you want to be a cop.
bellhop's
You want to make.
exciting.
Yeah. You never know who you're gonna meet.
He walked
Right?
Rihanna down a hallway once because he's like
Bitch, are you serious?
escorting her to her room. Yeah.
She got to. Okay, I know. Riri by association. Oh my god.
But yeah, this plot takes basically forever to do nothing, and like the premise is, can I throw a party?
For real.
Which is just like the premise of every Frasier episode. Like,
You know, they should reboot Frasier
Yes.
and just call it Lilith.
This movie is like such like
this movie's also
upper like white privilege, like upper like class like privilege.
Which is
like,
funny because
the
they
conflict is
actually
like,
aren't.
we were throwing this party on this hotel that I own in Greece,
It's not
on this
just a
beautiful
party.
Grecian island.
It's also that they've like she's completely and totally rebuilt the hotel and made it great. And also the spa is called the Olive Press, which I love on so many levels.
but she gets
like,
so upset over like
yeah.
the storm ruined
It's
it, and I
because
let
all of
everybody
her,
down.
all of
It's
her
like,
potential investors
postpone
can't
it.
come
You can
anymore.
do it in another weekend.
Yeah. See, what you're doing is introducing
too much
logic.
sense.
Yeah, you're introducing logic
yeah,
into
I
a
like this
movie
hand signal
musical.
that you guys are
Yes.
doing.
Stop
towards me.
that. Stop. Got 3 fingers at you. Yeah, but also
That's
this
how
movie
this
is
works.
just like, it's kind of like, what if we took one line from the first movie and made it into a movie? It's kind of like, it's not the first movie this summer that did that. Solo did really well.
What?
Box office.
Oh,
It was
man.
great for Star Wars.
Did
But-
Solo do good at the box
No.
office? Yeah, that's what I thought. Because I was gonna say, haven't they like canceled the Boba Fett movie? Because I know that my
They
fiance
put all
has
the non.
bitched about that
The
at more
anthology
than
ones.
more than
Yeah.
more than once to me.
They're on hold.
Not that the
They'll make
first-
them eventually.
not that the
They just
first
need to
movie,
make
when
the
you watch
Obi-Wan
that-
movie. Just make the Obi-Wan movie because I need Ewan McGregor in my life in a non-Winnie
Who
the
even knows if they'd
Pooh
have him?
situation. What do you mean if they'd have him? He's the reason the movie's getting made.
Is that official?
Oh yeah, no, he wants this
okay.
movie made.
Oh, okay.
And Ewan,
Isn't he kind of in weird hot water still?
no.
About what?
Ewan McGregor didn't do
Because he
anything.
left his wife.
Don't
for
you fucking dare!
Mary Elizabeth
Don't you
Winstead.
me too, Ewan McGregor?
No, don't hashtag me too, Ewan McGregor.
Wait, what did he do?
Well, it's like not a Me Too thing.
Oh,
It's just
okay.
kind of like that's a morally wrong thing to do. He left his wife of however many years for his co-star from
Mary Elizabeth
Fargo.
Winstead?
I think so.
Ew.
I'm pretty sure.
Well, actually,
I don't know
not.
if they're still together, but they were
Honestly,
having an affair.
Let's be. Oh no! I do remember hearing. Yeah,
Yeah.
they broke up.
Yeah.
So clearly, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, y'all should call me.
I can't imagine that gets into like his professional
Ewan.
career
Ewan should
or
call me.
whatever.
I mean, I'm getting married.
It was
in 3
just like
months. Never
slightly
mind.
hot water. It was not a good look for Ewan McGregor.
It's not like Chris Hardwick.
But Chris Hardwick's
mean,
hired
he's-
again.
Oh snap! It got brought up.
But I feel like
didn't
Disney-
bring
I
it
feel like
up.
Disney's a
Everybody
different
knows.
animal.
You can
Disney-
be abusive and still get work.
If you're a guy, if you're a white guy, yes. Speaking to the
Yes.
2 white gentlemen sitting beside me. But yeah, I literally made a joke about Chris Hardwick before we started recording. So yeah, we've come full circle.
Yeah,
It's
we,
impressive.
yes. Uh-huh.
It's impressive.
But near the end of this movie, like when they do like the whole Fernando number,
Oh,
I'm kind
Fernando.
of just like I love Cher,
My old
but
and
by
gray
the time she
Fernando.
comes in here, it's kind of like this now just kind of feels like
Bonjour, mes enfants.
This kind
Je
of just
suis arrivé. It's so Cher. It's so Cher.
but it just
It's
like oh my god,
stupid,
his
but it's
name is
Cher.
Fernando, and I used to know him. It just turns it turns into
Ruby! Mi amor!
it turns into
I broke Joe. He left.
Bye.
it turns into a game of Mad Libs with just like plot points and ABBA songs.
Yeah.
you know,
Accuracy.
it's just kind of like what What?
And that's
this,
what I'm
this
saying.
is a revelation that isn't a revelation.
You don't
That's what I'm
know
saying.
the
It's a
ABBA
bad look for
discography
musicals
at
because it plays right
all.
into what
I
people
do
think
know
is
it.
bad about musicals.
In the like one of the first scenes with Mr. Cienfuegos, which is hilarious because that means like 100 hearts. He literally says, "I had a love once and I was happy, but she broke my heart into a million pieces." And I was like, "That's a fucking Fernando lyric."
But
why are they making a Fernando reference?
Does he only exist in this movie so that they can do that number at the end of Cher?
Yes.
Is he not in
Which
the first
is
movie?
what? No, he's not.
Wait, what?
Why would Andy Garcia be in this movie?
I
Mike?
thought he was
Why?
going to be some...
No. Have you not seen the first one?
Again, I saw it in 2008, and before that, I saw the musical.
Count? That was 10 years ago.
It was when it came out.
No.
They're writing this movie for Mike because Mike forgets everything.
Yeah,
and
like
they're
it's a
just
perfect
kind of
movie
like,
where I'm like,
Brilliant.
oh, that sounds
Mike's like, oh, the grandmama's dead? And it's like, no, she's Cher.
Oh, she's
well
Cher.
alive.
She
Yeah.
has a helicopter.
Oh, didn't Meryl Streep die at the end? Yeah, sure.
absolutely.
She's gone.
Which is another thing. I want to know.
Which I would have assumed if I
want
saw
to
this.
know how Donna Sheridan died.
Oh,
because
me too. That was my-
Meryl Streep is immortal, and anyone who tells me otherwise is going to get bitch slapped.
I want to know that she fell off a boat.
And secondly, she probably like fell off of something because she climbs on so much shit,
always
and then there's
dancing.
like
She's
doing too
random.
many dances.
She's doing too
She
many
was
dance
doing a
numbers.
dance number and,
in
like, did, like, a back-
overalls. God damn it!
She did like a back handspring off like
For
a...
real. Or like a goat kicked her off a cliff or
yeah.
some shit, which is another thing. I'm sorry, that whole
She
like,
was
little
on
sequence.
Bill's boat, and Bill was like, oh, I'm not prepared to save this one.
There you go. But
I should not be out on the
Apollonia,
ocean
when
alone.
I'm like 20,
Papa?
sure.
Daddy!
Also, can we like talk about how incredibly gorgeous the whole scene with her in the orange skirt was? Because I was just like, holy shit, I need to move to Greece and suddenly
Is it
become
the
a
scene
goat
with
farmer.
the orange tree?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Where like she
can we
gets
talk about how that's the worst scene in this movie?
Why?
Because literally, like, all right, I think it's the best example of people being like, oh, like they're just singing for the sake of singing.
Yeah.
Like, this is like literally like that scene is introduced when Pierce Brosnan is like, oh, like I know you didn't
disappointed your
I know
mother
you didn't let
once.
her down because I let her down once.
Yeah, that's
and
such
the
a
camera
Pierce
literally
Brosnan
like
thing to
pans
say.
and like fades into the scene, and then she just starts singing this song. It's like the Name of the Game song, whatever it's called. That's part of the chorus is like, just tell me what the name of the game is or something
Right,
like that.
right.
It's like vaguely about being like let down, and like maybe you think that your partner is playing games and you're like, it's fine, just tell me what the name of the game is, I guess.
Sam was engaged and therefore was illicitly having
That was
an
the game.
affair with
that was the name
Meryl,
of the
so
game.
he
But it's
was
like, it's
playing.
not a
I love
sad
that I'm
sounding
using like the
song.
guy character names, but also Meryl Streep, even though she's technically being played by Lily James at this point. As far as I'm concerned, this entire movie is just Meryl Streep's autobiography. I don't know what you're talking to me.
Like it's not a sad sounding song, and she's not acting sad during it. So like we fade, like think of that, we fade to it from him being like, oh, I let her down once, and then we go into this kind of happy musical number, and then literally the choreography for it is her doing a long slow-mo cartwheel for like a minute of the song in that dress.
Is that the one where she's...
And then she's picking the oranges, and then she falls, and,
And
the
then a
goat
goat
sees
decides
her.
to,
And
like,
the
I
goat's
thought
gonna...
that was
her.
before she finds out that he has...
It is.
It is.
Oh, okay.
That's why I'm saying it's weird, because we fade to it from like
the
it's,
transition is the order of
like
the
it's not
scenes.
even like
Right,
oh
right,
like
right,
All right,
remember
y'all,
that time
you're out of
like,
mixer.
it just fades
all good.
to it, and then literally she comes back with an orange and goes in like the knife drawer to find a knife and finds the picture of them
another
together,
thing.
and then the
what
music
the fuck
stops.
is his journal doing in the knife drawer?
So
Sam,
nothing-
you are
nothing-
trying to be caught.
Nothing in the song has anything to do with him letting her down. Like it was just a sequence that had to explain how she got an orange from a tree and then brought it back to the house to cut it up.
I feel like that's
and
the,
that was how
that's
she
the
got let
beginning
down.
of the song as well, and she's just singing, and then he betrays her with big ass finger quotations.
You're right.
Because some of y'all are listening to this on a podcast. And then it like transitions into that with them still singing about each other but alone, and he's like packing and she's looking at him from the distance and all this shit. So they just had to like get it in there a little bit and then like have a musical interlude where she's doing cartwheels. That's another thing. Why the fuck would you be wearing a Valencia orange colored shirt or skirt and then go do cartwheels in a field that is presumably filled with pollen? That doesn't make any sense.
goat
I don't care if it's the 70s.
gross.
Y'all ain't doing that. That's not real. Apparently, when I'm drunk, I turn into Gina Linetti from the Brooklyn Nine-Nine because I've been watching too much of that lately. Which is yet another reference only my future husband is going to find amusing. Oh, God. But yeah, okay. Oh my God. I need to talk about this. Okay. What is the name of the actress that plays young Tanya? Because she
Tanya?
is a treasure. The chick with the blunt bob.
Christine Baranski.
Yeah, have him washed and bring me to my tent.
Tiny-
Yes.
I don't know.
Tiny Christine Baranski.
Yes, tiny Christine Baranski.
Is that an Elton John song?
I just the tiny Christine Baranski. I need her to be in more things, and secondly, I need to be her best friend because she's delightful.
I kind of like the Julie Walters, Christina Baranski characters more in this movie because they're kind of reduced to like caricatures.
They're the Greek chorus,
which makes them just like non-stop punchlines this whole movie.
Oh my God!
They're the only ones that have punchlines.
That's another fucking thing. In the first
one's
movie,
just fucking wacky.
There was a literal Greek chorus because they're Greek, right? And they're just like singing at you, like about with the background of the money, money, money song and all the other shit.
That's also what I don't like. I think it's very stagey, the first one, where it's kind of like
Meryl
Streep
it's a movie musical.
Oh no, definitely, but just
it's literally adapted from a stage musical.
No. But my personal taste is just like when Meryl Streep's dancing on a roof. I don't need like 20 like heads to pop up from behind the roof and go da 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 da, and then like pop back down and then pop back up and be like you know, and then like 20 heads to be in a circle.
I need Joe's agent to show up right now and be like, you're gonna be in the next movie musical doing doo 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 and da 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 because that was beautiful. That was beautiful.
Yabba dabba doo.
Okay, Katie hasn't had anything to eat today.
Like I'm totally fine with like that not happening. Like just heads popping up from behind like hay bales, being like, oh, what's she gonna do? You know, like I'm fine with it just being like I'm fine with it just being people dancing on a boat and like fucking nailing some like a really well choreographer, you know, like
I like that. Like I think some of the cinematography and like mixed with the choreography in this movie is a little strange. Like the one scene where like they see that like the boats are coming and it's just like 3 minutes of like the boats are getting closer and they're dancing on the boats. The boats are getting closer and they're dancing on the boats.
Yes, exactly.
They need that though.
That is a movie musical.
The boat should have just showed up. Like I would be okay with that jump of logic of like, oh, the boats were far and now they're here and we're dancing.
But then we wouldn't have Colin Firth dancing on the fence.
Like boats going like full speed and people are dancing on them. It's just like overwhelms the senses. I like that.
But it was too much of it. Like there should have been there should have been that shot. And then they should have been on land dancing with them.
They do pull in kind of. It's
very slowly. Like it just keeps being like they're getting closer.
I like that though. I like that though. Yeah.
What song was that? Was that Mamma Mia? What song was that?
That was Dancing Queen.
Yeah. Dancing Queen.
I think.
Young and Sweet.
Yeah, because they did Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again as the trio singing in the Greek cafe or whatever it is.
Yes.
All right, so other cinematography, choreography thing, the Fernando song, which I love performance-wise. I think it's when we finally get to hear someone
when
who
they're
knows
just looking at each other from across like the courtyard or whatever.
I don't want this to sound offensive.
Okay.
Here we go
Mike
again.
says something offensive.
Here we go again.
That's how all offensive statements start.
Future Mike editing. You want to cut this out at 1:14 into the podcast. No.
But Trump need to build that wall. Keep Fernando out of here. He's taking our shares.
Make Greece great again.
Milkshake. Oh my god.
No, so like they see each other from across the party, and then the choreography is literally just wide shot,
yes,
wide shot, and like them slowly moving towards each other. So like pretty boring choreography, which is fine, I guess. If Andy Garcia doesn't want to dance, that's whatever.
Andy Garcia.
But
what are you doing in this movie?
The lighting is like this like tiki like torch lighting. It's like very like harsh, a lot of shadows. Right. Cher has had a lot of plastic surgery.
Cher looks amazing. Fuck you.
She looks a little strange. It literally looked like a horror movie shot to me at one point because it's like this wide shot. Like, you know, in like a horror movie when you see the
slow-moving song.
But do a close shot. You know, like when in like a horror movie when you see like I think of like Insidious. Like when you would see like the creature, like the boogeyman or whatever.
Like the establishing shot of like
is it like
monster.
the turn off and then they turn it back on and she's like 4 feet closer.
And he's like standing in the distance. So like you have like Cher like just walking down the stairs with like this harsh lighting from below
and then out of nowhere, Fernando!
She's got these huge shadows like over her eyes, so she literally looks like not human. Like they don't light her properly, and it's this like wide shot, like just like this foreboding, like she's slowly getting closer,
That
like
is
moving
how the song
creepy.
works, though.
I'm gonna see that image in my nightmares.
I didn't pick up on that, but it's very funny how you described it.
They should have lit it better, and they should have had close-ups for that.
The lighting was not great in that.
If she's not going to be dancing, then give us some close-ups in that shot.
Okay, see, this is my issue.
It's creepy to look at people from afar and then never pull in.
Hold on. First of all,
it was a bizarrely shot scene.
It was a bizarrely shot scene. I do agree with that, but I understand why they were doing it, because Fernando starts so slow, and then it just becomes this fucking bop because it's ABBA,
right.
Which
but
is
they
a
could
whole
again.
thing.
You can start wide and then keep pulling in, but they don't. They just
don't.
keep going
They
to
just
these
stay
shots
wide.
of him being like, "Me amor, me love," and
Oh
then
my
we cut
God.
to her
And
like
then
coming
when
down
they,
the
when they
stairs,
get,
like,
I
love
close.
you, baby.
Did you
I'm
just
like,
dab? He's dabbing. Oh my God. Joe is dabbing. Clearly, we have had too much whiskey. I'm so glad I told Joe I like whiskey and don't drink beer, because holy shit.
Oh, man.
Me more!
This is like the third act of Mamma Mia. It's just out of control now.
Here we go again.
There we go again!
This is...
Oh my God!
Oh, Mamma Mia.
Oh, Lord. Mamma Mia, indeed.
All right, are we ready to get into some ratings here for
Yes.
this movie? I have no idea when we can give it.
How
so
are we
I'm gonna let
rating
you guys
this?
go first. Let me
Okay.
read the Rotten Tomatoes
What
I
first.
told you how
is-
we rate things?
No.
Yeah, oh, okay.
And
Okay.
I'm
Let's
the
explain that
asshole
first.
who did not watch your podcast before I
that's
showed up
okay.
on it, so
Nobody
I don't
does.
know anything. Nobody does. I'm like
We make
100.
this for ourselves. We play it back.
Yes. Beautiful.
So it's a rating from 0 to 5 fingers,
Okay.
and you can give half fingers. So it's almost like on a scale
Half
from like
fingers.
1 to 10.
Half fingers.
So it's like 0, half finger, 1 finger, 1.5,
Okay.
2.
Okay.
Yeah. So like 2.5 is middle of the road.
Cool.
Anything
Cool,
above that
cool,
is
cool, cool,
it's
cool,
good,
cool.
and anything below that's like it's not great.
I've stopped listening to you.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna
That is twice.
just
Twice
shoot
I have
myself.
made Joe
Let me
leave.
read the Rotten Tomatoes.
Twice.
Let's see
never
what
had a
the-
guest
It's
make me
actually
walk off so many
not
times.
terrible.
Let's see what the critics at large thought. On
critics-
review aggregation website Rotten Tomatoes, the film holds an approval rating of 80% based on 177 reviews with a weighted
not
average of
awful.
6.3 out of
It's
10.
not
The
terrible.
website's critical consensus reads, Mamma Mia, here we go again, doubles down on just about everything fans loved about the original, and my, how can fans resist it? They've got to fit those
How
references.
can fans resist it?
Wait, what was the tomato meter for this one?
80%.
And the first one is 54.
Yeah, that seems
So-
weird.
That
It
seems
is. I think
weighted.
maybe people are
like,
just warming up to the idea now.
Okay.
They're kind of like,
okay. Oh, that's another fucking thing. That's another thing. There are already calls to make a third one, and my concern is
I
that
think
there
they'll make a
are
third
not enough ABBA songs. What the fuck are you gonna do?
just bring them all back. I don't
You're just
I
gonna-
kind
they're-
of
okay,
thought they
they're
were just
gonna-
going to bring some Cher songs in here at the
That
end
would be
when
so
she showed
awesome.
up.
No, but that's not gonna happen because
Give us
it's
some
not,
Cher bangers in here.
dude.
bring out the bangers, baby.
Cher bangers.
Cher can do
AKA
whatever
Andy
she
Garcia.
wants. Oh, you know she tried to tap that. You know she did. Well done. Oh, I have my
She
pick
handpicked
of all
it.
of these attractive actors. Yes, I will in fact be bringing Andy Garcia back to my tent.
Why this franchise reminds me of like my big fat Greek wedding.
Yes.
And like my big fat
They're
Greek
Wedding
Greece,
wedding.
I
two.
guess.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
Well, they're
but
not in Greece. and-
Joey Fatone, what are you doing? Why are you in these? Why do you think you can
NSYNC
act?
is over.
NSYNC is over. Someone needs to tell him that.
NSYNC went.
That's
bye,
another.
Bye, bye.
Nice. That's another thing. Why is there new Backstreet Boys music? What is that?
Nobody
What is
cares about
happening?
you guys.
Right?
I mean, none of them had a
I don't
career after it,
understand.
so they
I
gotta do the
just
reunion
don't
tour.
understand. I
That's what
realize
all
that's a
pop
different boy
artists will
band,
do
but
at some
still,
point.
I am so close to
They
this
all
thing
ran
right
out
now.
of money. I have
Well,
to assume
I
that was
mean-
the case.
Yeah. Stop buying drugs, guys. Just stop. Just stop. Anyway, as for ratings goes, I would give this a solid 3.85. Because I'm not
I'm
quite
gonna round that up to 4 fingers.
I'm not quite ready to give it a 4. That's why I said 3.85.
but I think we're
just gonna do it? We're just gonna
jot
give it a
down
4?
as that if,
All right.
this is math.
You could do a 4 or 3.5.
Okay, see, like, this is my thing. I need to be, like, in the... Okay, 3.75. I'm going to give it 3.75 fingers because...
We don't accept that.
Well, you're going to have to, damn it. Because I'm not quite ready.
4 fingers.
No. Then, okay, fine. Fuck you. Then I'll give it a 3.5.
Oh, man.
Okay.
The truth comes out.
The truth comes out. Because if I have to choose between 3 and 4...
If you have to make a Sophie's choice between...
Oh, a Meryl Streep deep cut. Meryl Streep deep cut. That was good. I like that. If I had to make a Sophie's choice between 3 and 4, I would 100% go 3.5. Okay. Because... I liked it. I thought it was great, but it wasn't nearly the 4 that Mamma Mia 1 was. And no, I can't call it Mamma Mia, Here We Go, because the second one is Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again. That's right. Mamma Mia, Here We Go. Also, I would love to know where Benny and Bjorn's first wives ended up in all of this nonsense. Are they getting
Who?
Who is Benny and Bjorn?
Benny and Bjorn are from ABBA, and they have, see, that's the thing, A-B-B-A, the 2 A's.
How after all the daddy jokes that we made in this, did we not make an ABBA joke?
Exactly.
ABBA means father.
Yes, it does. See, this is my thing.
Know
where are the women?
Colin Firth is an ABBA.
Damn straight he is. No, seriously, Colin Firth, Pierce Brosnan, hell, even Stellan Skarsgård, Andy Garcia. Y'all can call me. I'm just saying.
I thought it was Bill Nighy.
Y'all are
She's not married yet.
Y'all ever in Philly? You got 3 months. Hit me up. But no, seriously though, I would love to know what the whole story with that is, but that's regardless. And also, I'm currently screaming into the void by telling you on this podcast that I want to know where the other 2 members of ABBA are.
Maybe they don't want to be attached to Mama.
I wouldn't blame them because I know that they were at one point each individually married to Benny and Bjorn. But I want to know where they are. What's going on with that?
What are their lives like? I'm sure they're fine.
I mean, one of them's a princess now.
Really?
Yeah, or was.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if they still are, but yeah, no. I will give this a solid 3.5.
Okay.
Because it was wonderful, but it wasn't the same 4 that Mamma Mia 1 was, because I like when musicals kind of seamlessly go into musical numbers, and when they just kind of seem to not only move the plot forward, but also it doesn't feel like that annoying, oh, we gotta sing now, which is what 20% of this movie felt like.
Right.
And yes, don't get me wrong, there was a random ass scuba diver sequence in the first movie, or snorkeling?
Yes,
snorkeling. Which I didn't love, but at the same time, it wasn't terrible.
Right.
So I want them to strive to regain the first movie stuff, but it's going to be difficult because there are not as many ABBA hits that they can actually use and be new and still be relevant, because in the first movie they used all the songs that people were like, oh, that's an ABBA song, whereas in the second movie people were like, that's an ABBA song,
right?
And that's really how I felt through most of it. Yeah, but yeah, so that I solid 70%, absolutely.
Okay. I'll go next.
Okay.
I don't have a whole lot else to say. ABBA's such a weird thing to me too.
Well, of course it is. It's Swedish.
Yeah, I mean, we all know it. We've all sat in a dentist chair at one point and heard it playing above us.
101.1 The Beat.
And I don't know. There's definitely something where Dancing Queen or some of their songs are very anthemic, kind of it's there's something to be said.
Who was the teen band that covered that song?
Oh, 18s.
18s.
Oh,
yes. They made a comeback.
Were they all ABBA songs, or was it just?
Wait, was that
one?
18s or was that Vitamin C?
It was 18s.
Because both are bad.
Yes.
Both are so
it was 18s.
I think
so
it was
bad.
it was a teen pop, a teen boy band, except it was tiny ABBA.
ABBA Light.
Yes, and they purely did ABBA songs or whatever. It was just basic. I don't know.
They had 1 or 2 girls in the band, right?
Right. It was just ABBA, except tiny ABBA.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
We said
They were
boy
babies.
Band, I thought.
They were
Well,
babies.
yeah. I didn't
was-
want to say band.
Boy girl
because
band.
It was
boy
just,
girl
yes.
tiny band.
It was around the time of S Club 7 too.
Yeah.
It was a
I'm
very
really
confusing
loving
time
this
for all of us.
weird mic
I don't know.
The boy bands have girls in them.
It was kind of there's something special about ABBA where you can do something like that and bring, like, have the 18s or whatever, and kind of, like, have this, like, I don't know, there's some sort of alchemy with these pop songs. Like, they're really great. I don't know, there's something weird where this was trying to have, like, a sadder tone than the first. Like, it was kind of trying to be like,
oh, your mom's dead.
My mom died. But again, we didn't get that many details. It was weird.
How did Meryl Streep die?
We need this to be answered.
See? I'm not the only one
we didn't talk about the
There's
fact
many of us out here.
We didn't talk about the fact that they broke up over the phone in, like, literally the first scene.
Yeah, for real. That's true.
Like,
that is some...
Because he wanted to become a bellhop. He didn't want to go back to having his own hotel.
Honey, when he showed up, you shouldn't have, like...
hotel on a Grecian
you shouldn't
island.
have, like, jumped on him and kissed him.
I want to be a bellhop at a city that smells like
him
piss.
into the... Ooh, dang. You should have pushed him into the goddamn Red Sea, because that's what
How do
he
you
deserves.
take somebody back that quickly? Like,
oh, but they're in love.
Yeah,
Get the fuck
yeah.
over
She's
yourself.
just happy that he's
for
there.
real.
And she, like, there's never any, like,
He
hey, can we
showed up
talk
to
for
my
a hot
grand
minute about the fact that you were
reopening.
ready to break up with me over the phone
right, yeah.
for this
Hey,
New York
guess what?
position?
I'm done having this fight. Fuck off, okay? Just fuck off. Just stop. Just stop. Because for real, don't get me wrong. I mean, I've been in relationships where I've had that conversation, but then I've broken up with the other person.
Also, like,
Yes.
this movie does so much to be like, oh, like, Donna was so great. Donna, so wild.
Donna
blah,
was
blah.
kind of shitty.
But Donna would not have put up with that shit.
No.
Like, Donna would have been
Yeah.
like,
No,
are
no,
you
no, no.
kidding me?
Oh my god,
I'm a woman.
Sophie is learning about her
That was my Meryl
mom.
Streep.
Sophie didn't learn shit.
Yeah.
That's my
Sophie
Meryl
wasn't
Streep
paying
into-
attention.
I enjoy your Meryl Streep impression, and I think that it should be.
I don't need no man.
Oh no!
Give me an Oscar.
You got drunk laughing on camera. Shit. Fuck. Shit. Fuck. Shit.
But this
shit,
movie
fuck,
does
damn.
not have the infrastructure to carry
No.
the tragedy that it wanted you to feel. So, like, the
No
entire
Greek
time
chorus,
that it was,
bitches.
the entire time that it was like kind of like, oh, like motherhood and tragedy and everything, I was like, love those themes. But I
Respect.
Like, I can't get into that because, you know, like, because of what I'm watching, guys. I don't know.
Yep.
Did we talk about how Cher is only like a few years older than Meryl
Yes,
Streep?
we did. I
Okay.
mentioned
Yeah,
it.
that was weird.
Yeah, 3 years older.
Where I
What
think
the
Meryl Streep is almost
fuck?
too old to be Amanda Seyfried's, like, mom.
Grandmother.
Yeah.
She's not old enough. That's the problem.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
She's only 3 years.
But-
She's only 3 years older than Meryl Streep, which is unacceptable because that would be some weird ass shit.
Yeah.
So, my thing with that is you either have to, like, post-age her in the story and be like, look, she was born in this time and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
She's playing a character. Regardless, this is yet another issue that we see in the theater and also film in general, where they're like, hey, this person and that person are together and in a marriage, and it's not weird, and it's not like, hey, they were clearly like 12 when they got married, which is also very common because God forbid a 70 to 50 or whatever else older person is with someone that is of a legitimate standing. I just saw Ant-Man and I felt the exact same way about the guy from Wolf of Wall Street.
Michael Douglas.
Thank you, Michael Douglas and Michelle Pfeiffer. What the fuck is that about? That doesn't make sense to me.
What about them?
That's a huge age difference, isn't it?
Oh, is it?
I think Michelle Pfeiffer's actually pretty old. She just looks good.
Well, Michelle
She
Pfeiffer
does.
was
I mean,
also.
she's been doing stuff since like the 80s.
Yeah, I mean that's
right?
accurate.
Like,
Michelle Pfeiffer was also in a weird age difference with
Oh, that's movies though. Remember when like
what the hell's his name? The Godfather, Al Pacino?
yeah. And
No. I'm sorry, not Al Pacino. The other one.
I know you're
The other Italian guy. Al Pacino, but not Al Pacino. The other one. Shit.
Robert De Niro.
Robert De Niro
In what movie?
The Family.
I don't know. If
That
I
makes.
that's how
Yeah.
Hollywood operates.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
I know. I'm aware.
50-year-old husband, 18-year-old wife. You know,
Yeah,
it's
what
like,
the fuck?
whoa,
You
what
either
the
have to
fuck?
make
Yeah.
the distinction that that's their third wife, or you need to not do that.
Because it
Like,
gives like
because
weird ideas to
granted,
older men out there, and they're like, I need to get me somebody my daughter's age. You know, it's just kind of like, no.
See, this is my thing. For a first wife, no. For a second or third wife, why not? I have no judgment on that particular point. Mostly
if that
because
girl wants to make this mistake, that's her right to do. Yeah.
Damn straight.
Yes.
Mostly because
I want to get with someone who's been married twice.
I personally have issues and enjoy an older man of distinction, so that's my own issue. Please edit this out. But like for real though,
babe, what the fuck? We're getting married soon.
Yeah, well, I haven't been married yet. Damn it! I don't know how long you're gonna last.
Am I not zaddy enough?
You know what? That is a question. That is a question that comes up. No, I'm kidding, honey. I love you.
I already dyed my hair gray.
Is that a thing? Can men do that? Men should do that. Men should always do that.
I'm sure it's possible.
But no, but like seriously, I don't think that it's accurate that that's the other thing. What is the age difference between Andy Garcia and Cher?
Oh, I'm sure it's
is it like
sure there's a valley.
See, like, yeah, that's my thing. Because I want her to be older than him just to
there's
like
just a bunch of strange ages in this movie.
Yeah, and in the first movie as well, because it doesn't make any fucking sense that Meryl Streep would be going after these guys when they're like, oh, they were the same age when they met. No, they fucking weren't. Right. Like, stop. Come on. Also, you're welcome. I am purposely finding the mic instead of talking over here. See? Look at that. Look at this nonsense.
Yes.
Hey.
No, exactly. Okay, but
anyway,
to close out
what is your rating, sir? Which is what we've been talking about.
I just wanted to highlight that I really like Lily James in this. I think she's so charming that she makes Amanda Seyfried
she literally is.
look not like a great actor, but
what
who
the
knows?
Fuck? How do you make Amanda Seyfried not charming? You be like,
I mean, like Amanda Seyfried could also just be like tired of the shit and like collecting a paycheck like a lot of other people.
Was Amanda Seyfried the chick in Sweeney Todd, or was that somebody else?
I don't know.
I think that was somebody. That was like Mia.
You might be right.
She was born and raised in Allentown.
Amanda Seyfried?
Yeah.
Woo!
Anyway,
good for you, Amanda Seyfried. Way to get it and be in a movie with Meryl twice.
But
I want to be in a movie with Meryl. What the fuck?
I'm gonna give this 2.5 fingers though, because I think it's right in the middle. It's not good. It's not bad. I honestly. I almost
Mike is tracking the fingers in an Excel spreadsheet, and I was unaware of this level of sophistication.
Oh, yeah, because we got to round them.
Yeah.
We're going to average all these scores together, and then we'll round that down to the nearest half finger, and that's the official score.
But I feel like this production was better staged. The story feels slicker. I almost like this better than the first one, and I think it's entirely because of the order that I watched them, or that the year that I live in.
Yikes.
And like that's the first time. I don't know. But I'm going to leave this one at a 2.5. Middle of the road.
Your emotion.
Mike, I'm going to carry the torch over to you.
This is not how I thought this review would go, because I know that Joe has bashed musicals on this podcast before.
What musical did I bash?
Not just sort of the general concept of musicals.
How
before.
dare
I have heard you.
How dare
like,
you?
I think of you when I think of people who are like, oh, like they just like randomly jump into song for like no reason.
I fucking
like,
love movie musicals. The next time you need to review
we probably
one,
talked about that on
Mike. You call me.
Next movie musical you'll be on. We probably talked about it on La La Land a bit. So if someone
I just didn't like La La Land though.
But I definitely remember you
La
being
La Land
like,
is stupid,
blah, blah, blah,
and those who like
way.
La La Land should feel stupid. That's how I feel about La La Land.
Yeah.
Somebody in the audience knows how I feel about La La Land.
I got you,
because
girl.
I've literally talked to people about this. A, people who like La La Land, and secondly, that I was going to be on a podcast. So there is a specific person that knows how I feel about David.
I hope you're listening, because this is a very specific shout out right now.
I'm gonna be
We're
real
gonna
pissed.
get one listen this week.
Because I was literally told, oh my God, I'm
girl.
gonna like listen to this. And instead they're gonna be like, what the fuck? I thought that you said you'd give La La Land another chance. And in fact, no, I will not give La La Land another chance. Because
Narrator,
I don't need to be white-splained why jazz is good, David. I don't. Fuck, I'm drunk.
Here we go again.
Also, hi, Peter. I have friends who are
I think
really
this movie
excited that I'm on the spec.
plays into a bunch of the things that make musicals look bad. And I think this makes movie musicals look really bad. Like I can get into like a, corny, cheesy movie musical if there's spectacle, if the singing is great, if the dancing is like especially great, and if the plot makes like some semblance of sense. But I don't think there's an actual plot to this movie.
It's
just two things happening at once, two timelines happening at once. Yeah, try to throw a party.
A grand reopening.
Throw a party.
Thank you.
Can I throw a party?
And
Can I throw a
stuff
grand
just
reopening?
happens so that they can like go to an ABBA song.
Oh my god,
and, like,
no flights came into Athens. What the fuck are we gonna do? Postpone, bitch.
And like
I love you, Amanda Seyfried, but why?
Like that's fine in the first Mamma Mia because we're
What kind
playing.
of press are you guys gonna get with drunk sailors?
What kind of press are we gonna go with? Holy shit! Someone here has a blog of legitimate repute. Oh, Dominic Cooper, what the fuck are you doing?
How in the red are they now? Like, that they gave like a ton of free alcohol and like top of the line appetizers.
Also, do we talk about the weird like Greek economy joke that they made in this movie?
They did make a Greek economy
with the sailors when they're all like,
Holy shit.
like times are not good and
we aren't making any fish.
We just sit here and we drink
profits, and instead we just sit here and drink. Bring yourselves
and
your wives and families,
and
then they all get sad. Wow.
Yeah. But they get to go to a nice party, so I guess it's all right that the Greek dollar is
and
worth
sing Dancing Queen, young and sweet from the timber. That's not the words.
They bring back songs from the first one because they're so desperate for like actual hits from the ABBA like leftovers.
Clearly, for ABBA musical movie The Third, we all need to look into their deep tracks. And
like these
deep
ones don't even
cuts.
like the ones they bring back don't even bang as hard like in this movie.
I'm sorry,
like,
but I
you're
kissed
just
the
kind
teacher,
of like,
ABBA, Benny, Bjorn. What the fuck were y'all thinking?
And like there are some good songs, but they're not as familiar. So it's just kind of a bunch of whatever. I don't think the singers are even good in this. Like I think Cher is really the only one that I like want to listen to.
Shit. See now I
think Lily James is all right. Amanda
Lily
Seyfried
James is great. Amanda Seyfried is okay. I agree with that. But okay, this is another thing. Bringing Cher in, I feel like, was a last-ditch effort to get viewers,
some
and
talent.
secondly, well, I mean, viewers / talent, and secondly, a reason for people to come to the theaters. So now my concern is that they're not going to be able to top that for this quote-unquote untitled third movie that the public is now jockeying for. Also, public. What the fuck are you jockeying for? I have
Says the person who gave it 3.5 fingers.
See, and that's the thing. I like ABBA. I like movie musicals. If I'm not on board with a third movie, who the fuck are you gonna find that is? And is it gonna be
the day drunk moms that were in my theater?
Oh, for real? No, but like seriously, I found so many couples in my theater that were of a certain age. Okay. So like my question is, are you gonna find that producer from Tropic Thunder who's like big dick baby? Like that's all that you're gonna find to produce this third film? Because maybe just let it go.
Well, they've got.
I'm not
saying
they'll
do it again in 10 years.
Here we go again a second time.
Here we go again.
Some of the cast might be dead.
I mean, they were gonna kill him in the plot anyway.
In 10 years, y'all don't know. Pierce Brosnan.
They died in the same mysterious way that Meryl Streep's character.
Baby
I've only got 2 daddies now.
Oh shit! But no, but like for real though, because Pierce.
One of my daddies died.
Wow. But like seriously though, Pierce Brosnan, y'all do some fucking cardio, okay? I'm worried about you.
Yeah, he looks a little chubby.
Like, don't get me wrong. 10 years
James
ago,
Bond.
For real, he was
a long time ago.
He was. But like 10 years later, like Pierce, what are you doing? And I'm sorry, but doing the whole
he's heartbroken about the death of
the
Donna.
baby has piercing blue eyes. Hey, was that a play on your name? That's hilarious because that's
really
the only thing recognizable about you, Pierce. What are you doing?
Nobody wants to see Pierce sing though, right?
Yeah,
oh my god, that is the third thing. That is another thing that I wanted to talk about. The people that were like playing the young versions. Apparently, I am not flying a plane. The people that were playing the young versions. They could not sing.
No.
Young Bill was okay, but he only had one song.
Like, I think if you're gonna cast like no-name actors, then cast the really talented ones.
Go to Broadway.
Yeah,
exactly.
Get them from Broadway.
I mean, granted, young Bill played Jolie in
But they went to like a modeling agency instead and said,
No.
find me a person who looks like this.
Young Bill
Find me someone with like Stellan Skarsgård's drooping eyes.
Yes, yeah.
Young
And they're eerily accurate with a lot of this casting, yeah.
The only one who doesn't fully look like it is the Pierce Brosnan one. But he's not a great singer either.
No, because apparently even though he aged, he did not lose his ability to sing. He just never had it.
He just never had it. Yeah.
But young Bill was actually, he played Jolie in the film version of Les Miserables. And at this point, just bring fucking
Maybe he is like a musical
help me, what the
kind
fuck's
of...
his name? It's not Colin Firth or Pierce Brosnan. It's fighting something all around the world.
Wait, what?
He's the guy who played Javert in Les Mis.
Hugh Jackman?
No, that was Jean Valjean.
Russell Crowe?
Russell Crowe, thank you. At this point, just cast
My
Russell.
name's Javert.
Yeah, exactly. Russell Crowe fighting, making music, fighting, making movies, fighting. What is it? Making music, making movies,
Russell
fighting
Crowe's
around the
entourage
world.
is his Russell Crowe.
Exactly.
When
Russell Crowe.
shows up with the Russell crew.
But this is my problem.
Yeah, what'd you say about Russell?
Yo, Russell
Neither-
Crowe, it's time to Russell.
That's amazing. But no, neither Pierce Brosnan nor his younger counterpart can sing. And at first, in the theater, I was really tempted to write down because, yes, I made notes in the theater like a dork. It's like, wow, Pierce Brosnan lost his ability to sing as he got older. But no, he just never had it. Because young Pierce Brosnan just didn't have that thing. And that was really unfortunate.
All right, we got to get out of this review. It's taking way too long.
That's because it's a big movie, Mike.
It's an important movie.
It's an important movie.
Anyway,
many people.
one finger. Not impressed with really anything.
Finger!
I came
We
into
had a
this.
scale.
Holy shit!
I came into this liking the first one. I pushed for this because I was like,
Did I say 3.5?
Yes.
I was like, I think this is going to be like
3 because I'm backed up by somebody.
Wait, what?
I'm tempted to go down to 3 because I'm backed
can
up.
do that. You
okay,
can change
you know
their
what?
scores.
Can I go down to 3
Someone
because I'm
went
backed
from
up by somebody?
What did Kevin do?
he went from like a 2 to like a 5 or something like that.
For what?
The Big Short.
The Big Short.
Hey, The Big Short's a good movie. I respect that.
Right,
But no,
still,
yeah, I would
in a
like
very
to go,
short
I
amount
would
of
like,
time to go from 2 to 5
I would like
is
to go
wild.
down from a 3.5 to a 3 because I was at a 3.75 and you know what? I was being overly generous
Yeah,
because
you
Meryl,
were leaning towards 4, and now you're
Yeah,
falling
but
back
you know
to 3.
what? No,
I've got that power. I can convince people how bad
exactly.
the movie actually is.
Mike can reel him back in, yeah.
Because that was with Kevin. Kevin gave it like a 2, and then I gave my score. And
I
he's like,
feel
you know
like
what? 5 fingers.
I have been touched by reality, and therefore I would like to go down to 3 just to be like an understandable person.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is going to come out to 2.16 repeating, which will round down to 2 fingers. So below average for Mamma Mia.
You know what, guys?
Here we go
it's
again.
okay.
Mamma
You got
Mia.
a third movie in the trilogy that
Yeah,
y'all
we can still
like
bring it back.
work on. You can bring it back.
Anyway,
Bring it back.
if you guys agree or disagree, leave a comment below on SoundCloud or YouTube. Hit us up on Twitter, or you can definitely join the discussion
Also, please
already
follow.
in progress.
Sorry, continue.
Oh, do you got plugs?
I do have plugs.
Yeah, that's true. We never told it. Where can people find you?
where can we watch?
People can find me in places. At illprophoto. Wait, that's wrong. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase. At ILL photo _ on Instagram or at at ill family photo on Instagram if you're looking for like family portrait stuff. The
Yeah, I guess you gotta kind of separate.
Yeah, for real. I have 2 different because I do like
Oh, could you take pictures of my newborn?
no, like for real. I do like
Oh, this isn't a boudoir photo shoot?
because like that's the thing. I
Is
do
the baby naked, though?
I do boudoir and burlesque photo shoots on the and also corporate on Il Pro Photo, and then for Il Family Photo, I do your family photos, your wedding photos.
Will you do the boudoir
I like the portrait
and
shit.
corporate ones on the same one?
No.
For those corporate zaddies.
I'm a little drunk. Okay. All right. There are
The family
actually
corporate ones are probably
shit.
together, right? Yeah.
There are 3.
You probably don't even do. Do you do boudoir?
I do boudoir.
Oh, okay.
Of course I do boudoir.
Okay.
Are you kidding? Naked ladies? Hell yes. Hell, naked guys. What's up? I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I've done some more husky guys lately, but as far as I'm concerned, that just makes like the fit guys more interested in doing the photos. But also, husky guys, what's up? But yeah, I have ill pro photo for all of your normal shit, ill family photo for all of your family and weddings, and ill after dark photo for all of your boudoir and burlesque stuff. Please hit me up at any of these options. It's like at ill pro photo for underscore. Ill pro photo underscore for all of your corporate stuff, at ill family photo. And then no underscore because I don't have that type of time. And then at ill family, no, fuck,
Ill
damn
After
it.
Dark.
Ill After Dark, thank you. Ill After Dark for all of your burlesque and boudoir goodness. Fuck y'all for making me do my plugs when I'm drunk.
I know. I should have asked.
All of the information's gonna be in the doobly-doo on the Yahoo / other stuff. Hit me up, www.illprophotos.com. Thanks so much. Yes, there's an S there because I couldn't get the website because GoDaddy is a bitch.
Fuck you, GoDaddy.
For real, right? Right.
GoDaddy was on the phone as an advertiser. Now he's out.
GoZaddy.
Also,
GoZaddy.com.
I would like to throw out a shout out to A, Mom and Dad. Secondly, Pete.
Thanks for birthing me, fam.
Thirdly,
and Zaddy.
D, what's up? I love all y'all. And also I love my future husband, Matthew. Bye. I'm going to stop talking now. Here we go again.
Thank you so much for coming on. This was great. We'll see you guys next week for Mission Impossible Fallout. And check out our review last week
I am
of
so jealous right now. Oh my God. I want to.
Bye.
Later.